Okay, are we live? Am I live? I'm live. What do you know? Oh, back at it again. Are we live? Wait. Yes. Okay. It's showing up in YouTube. Now I'm just waiting for y'all to pull in. Hello to anybody that is coming on in. Well, how's it all going tonight? We're just living it up at the old gold power plant right now. Currently at Ultra 2. I should see like 7 spawns. I think that's the point where it's 7 spawns tomorrow. Let's see. Not actually sure. Not sure where the different amount of spawns happens at Old Gold Power Plant. That's in here somewhere, isn't it? I know there's... Nope. There's a thing in here. I'm not sure. Oh, there it is. Spawn count, Drowsy Bahar, look up. 7 is grade 5. So yes, we're at the point that I can encounter 7 spawns tomorrow morning. Hello. YouTube stats is being kind of funky right now. It would show me that I have 1 like and 0 concurrent viewers. Love it when it takes a while for YouTube to update. Isn't that just a fun time? Well, hello out there to the 1 concurrent viewer. Glad to have you here, whoever you are. Just chatting it up about any topics that people come in with. I know lately we have the whole, we've got the, some events coming up. Well, we got the event next week. Farfetch'd. I'm kind of interested to see what they do with Farfetch'd. A lot of people are theorizing a leak Pokemon, which would totally make sense. I haven't made a video about this. I haven't made a video about Farfetch'd yet. Is it streaming well to anyone who's viewing? Let me know. I'm getting a notification that says the bitrate is lower than recommended. Let me know if it's kind of choppy. I'm hoping it's not. Just got the announcement tonight about the bundles. I usually don't talk about the bundles all that much. All good. Good to know. Thank you, John. Yeah, I don't know what YouTube's saying. But yeah, we just got the announcement about the bundles tonight. I don't intend to buy any of these bundles. I think I'm at a point where I only really consider purchasing a bundle if it's got seeds. I did buy the Murkrow befriending bundle, but that I look back on that and I kind of think of it as a mistake almost. So, nowadays I'm just looking at only bundles if they've got seeds in them, or if they're the cheaper ones that are just like a few biscuits, because those are kind of nice too. I can always use more biscuits. Thinking I'm just gonna... Let's see, team analysis. Where am I sitting for... Where am I sitting right now for, tomatoes? Because that's the one ingredient that I'm stockpiling right now. Currently sitting at 80. I was stockpiling for... Next week's the curry week. I know I prepped these two teams on camera to see which one would be better off. This one was the Ninja Curry team. This was the other curry team. 525 tomatoes. So that's a lot more tomatoes than what I currently have. This is after 2 days. Ugh. 2 days and only 80 tomatoes. I might need to run some more tomato Pokemon. Come to think of it. If that's all I'm producing. Yeah, only 73 tomatoes a day. I didn't realize my victory bell was that bad. I knew it was bad, didn't realize it was that bad. That's still coming up worse than what the expected outcome is. That's weird. Oh, wow. That's lucky. I had a double proc on Cresselia right before I started the stream. To get another one that fast. How's my team doing on energy after that? And people undercut Cresselia. That... I just realized. This is a bit of a new realization. Gigachu. This Pokemon here. Crest your full-time healer now? Yeah, pretty much. My Crest is good enough that it's honestly kind of redundant to have another healer. So, it may be a little more unreliable, but the extra strength is well worth it, is what I've found. And it's rare that the extra healing actually provides more benefits. I could rotate more, but I'm not a huge fan of rotation, because I find that during the day I do check the app, but not a whole lot. And when I'm checking the app during the day, it's just to collect or make a meal. It's not really to check, like, how many ingredients do I have? How much energy does my team have? Do I need to rotate anyone? I don't check that often. But I just noticed Gigachu is one night of sleep away from being level 65. We're about to have our first level 65 Pokemon. I could make it right now. I have the candies and the Dream Shards to do so. But that is not worthwhile, considering it's running right now. It's going to get the sleep XP tonight. If I just wait about 10 hours, maybe 11 hours, it'll be level 65 for free. So that's what we're looking at. But yeah, Cress is pretty much my full-time healer. Mine's a good, solid enough one that, like, I rarely need more triggers, except for on the energy recovery down Pokemon. You can see Cress itself is at 74 because it has an energy recovery down nature. So I guess I do have energy death spirals, but oh well. Victory Bell is vibing. Because of its main skill being self-recharge. 9k Dream Shards might need to start a donation fund. I mean, I do have a lot of Dream Clusters that I haven't spent. I'm just holding them because Dream Clusters are better value the later you spend them because of research rank. So I hold them as long as I can, then when I need to spend them, I use them. So if you do the math here, I don't really have 9,000 Dream Shards. I've got, let's see, 8 times 6, because that's how many the M's are worth. I'm doing some quick math here. Plus 70 times 2808. That's 331,000 Dream Shards. So, I'm not really that far off. That's 340k if you add the 9k that I have. It just looks bad because I don't have them in the bank right now. Things are going alright, though. I don't really need to level things. Crest is my first healer I caught because when I started playing, I've used it ever since. It's a good Pokemon. I think a lot of people underwrote it. The problem with Crest, and I can't recommend it to anybody else at this point, because if you're a new player starting the game, it's a legendary. It has the legendary problem of it is so gosh darn expensive outside of their event weeks. It may as well be an event exclusive. If you caught a great one during the event, great for you. Like, I caught a great one during the event, but it's really event locked. If you do cost benefit analysis, a Gardevoir is going to be way better for the return on investment. But I caught this one, which is very good. It doesn't really get that much better. It's pretty much at its peak performance, but I'm okay with that. Yeah, I like it, and it's got style points for being a legendary, so... but yeah, I got it up to main skill level 6, so... And it's my highest RP Pokemon, too. Does well enough, but sometimes get RNG'd by low procs. That can happen with any healer. In fact, Cress theoretically should actually have less problems than some of the other ones. Because the biggest things that play into RNG is just the number of procs per day. Practically the same, double trigger with speed up nature. Yeah. Oh, very similar. Yeah, mine would probably perform a little bit better on average, but that's going to perform similar comparatively. That one actually might be a little bit better as long as the down isn't energy recovery, because mine does actually struggle a little bit because of that. It struggles a bit more for energy recovery down Pokemon. So, yeah, if we're looking at like a level 60 Cress, ABA also. ABA is like one of the most common ingredient lists. It's not the most common, but, well, it's tied for most common. Is this the real Velocity Raptor from the subreddit r/Pokemon Sleep? Yes, it is. XP down. Ah, that's nice. Yeah, I do moderate the subreddit. I don't talk about that much on my YouTube channel, but yes, I'm a moderator for the subreddit. Lately, I've been feeling like I haven't been pulling my weight, though, with it. I do occasionally get in and do some moderation, though. I am active on it. Yeah, if we just compare, like, Gardevoir to Cress. Get rid of any other healer influence, because the idea is they'd be the sole healer. Yeah, the Gardevoir does perform significantly or better, but... Can't wait to get rock-type candies with the Cramomatic. Yeah, Cramomatic is always... I mean, there's a lot of randomness involved in it. Let's go to the Suicune team, trying to grind Sign and want to know the most optimal team would look like. Well, here's the thing. The most optimal team for each island generally doesn't include one of the Helper Boost Legendaries. Helper Boost Legendaries are... Their role, if you're really optimizing, I'd say, would be for berry bombing, and pretty much berry bombing exclusively. I made a video on what teams based around them can look like, but realistically, it's like, for Alligator, Suicune, and then just, if you want to be real interesting with it, there are certain power pairs for certain meals. I actually don't remember what they were, but I made a video on it a while back. I actually would need to double check what that video is called. Let me find it real quick. I can pull up my own live stream. It was in my mechanics guide series. It was one of my more suggested ones a while back. Yeah, it was episode 50 of the Mechanics Guide series. There. Will you invest in a Dream Shard mod next, seeing as you're low on Dream Shards? Well, I'm already investing in one, is the funny thing. And I'm really not all that low. Like I said earlier, my Dream Shards look low right now. But that's primarily just because, like I was saying... it looks low. It shows 9,000, but if I go in here, I have 70 Dream Clusters and 8 Dream Cluster M, which, like I said, after you do the math on that, that's about 340k Dream Shards. That's not quite enough to do a pot size upgrade if they release 2 new pot size increases tomorrow, but it's still a solid buffer, I'd say. But I'm already investing in one. The problem is I just don't have the seeds for it. I could show you it, though. It's a Swalot. I caught it on camera a while back. I've put 3 seeds into it, but it still needs 3 more because Stinging main skill level 8 is expensive. But I'm working on it. For future reference, would you include a live stream role in the Discord so avid fans know when you start a stream? Sure, I can do that. Can't look at the Dream Bank account, gotta look at net worth. Yep, you gotta look at net worth. How many Dream Clusters do you have? And I'm holding on to them because if I ever hit the next rank up, it's going to be even more because every single one of those Dream Clusters gets a little bit more value with each rank up. Granted, I'm nowhere near rank 64, so That's still going to be a while before I see that, so I might have to use them before that point, but I'd rather not. But yeah, I am trying to work on the Dream Shard things. Okay, I wanted to look to see what I had for tomatoes because I'm trying to stockpile them. I need 525. I want to make sure I have a bit more. What does this mime have? I think it's a potato mime. Yeah, it's a potato mime. Do I have something else that's actually for just tomatoes? I don't know. Because that's the leek guy. Oh, that's a berry specialist. This Mawil's AAC. I'll be showing that off eventually. Honestly, I think the best thing's my Vigoroth. Do I run Vigoroth for the... tomatoes? Probably not. I need the strength more. Are you using Chromatic 4 times a day for both accounts? There's no way that the sleepers can handle that amount of Dream Shard expense. As for on my main account, the Chromatic's nice, but it's not really worth 4 times a day if you're not like someone who's got just boatloads and boatloads of Dream Shards. I see it as more of a way to like call off excess Dream Shards that you may have. So yeah, I probably will only use it like 2 to 3 times a day. A bit of a resource hoarder in this game. I assume you just spend the resources when you have them instead of hoarding them. Depends on what it is. I hoard some things. I've got a problem with hoarding ingredient tickets. I recently spent all of them, because they were filling up space in my bag, and I was like, I'll never need these for anything else. And we had the cooking boosted event, so I figured, what better to use it on, ingredient tickets on, than an event where the pot size is increased, so I can actually use all those filler ingredients, and they're boosted by 1.5 times, so I used pretty much all of them during that event. But as far as dream clusters go, I try to hoard them. I would say with everything else, though, I generally try to spend resources when I get them, because you have to spend money to make money, is kind of always my thoughts. If you don't have strong things, then you're not going to make the Dream Shards for the other strong things. So I generally tend to be a very liberal player, unless there's some sort of active reason to encourage me to not spend them. Like, I hoard dream clusters up the wazoo unless I need them for something that I'm actively trying to use on. As you can see here with the 70 and 8. Yeah, 70 and 8. So everything else I hoard, or I spend almost right away. Main skill seeds. If I know what I'm investing them in, then I invest in them right away. Same with Dream Shards, regular candies. In fact, candies, the game actively encourages you to spend them earlier. Because if you wait and you get sleep XP built up on the Pokemon, the higher the level, the more Dream Shard costs per XP that it has. So if you use your candies earlier and then let sleep XP carry you later on, that's going to be cheaper Dream Shard wise than if you spend your if you let it sleep XP early on and then spend your candies later. So, but I only try to invest the things that I know are actual long-term investments. So I guess that's kind of what I am when it comes to conservative versus liberal on this account. When it comes to the concept of resource conservation. Tempted on investing in Mawile, but has a neutral nature. Neutral nature is not bad. Depends on what its subskills are and ingredient list. Wasted a ton of Dream Shards last week on Mono Shroom Quagsire. If you need shrooms, that's not a bad thing. But if you don't need shrooms, then I don't know why you're investing that. Yeah, I caught a live stream. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Ubu Malu. I hope I pronounced that right. Cooking pot expansion after 69 will be rough. I agree. Oh yeah, that's right. Tier list update. I'm excited for it too. That's coming out next Tuesday is the plan. I'm going to be doing a live stream on that. For anyone who hasn't heard, that's the plans. Doing the tier list update in a live stream. Going to do it 2 parts. First part's going to be me just recording the video, which I will upload after. So it's not going to be much of a live stream. It'll be like an like a video that you guys... Yeah, it's on a Tuesday, I believe. Tuesday the 24th. Next week, Tuesday. Well, Tuesday my time. For some areas of the world, it'll be Wednesday morning. Afternoon, it's barely 5 a.m. in London. Love time zone differences. They make things confusing. For me, it's about 11 o'clock at night. So, just after 11 o'clock. Gotta love being in the Midwest United States. The Farfetch'd video, will you put in any video clips from the animation of Farfetch'd? I mean, I don't know what... I don't do editing. I just live record. I only edit if something interrupts me or if I have particular interest in making sure that one's edited down. Steven from college just wanted to say hi. Love to see you happy. Yo, nice to see you in here. Awesome to have you, man. Haven't talked to too many people from college on here. Wish I was wearing one of my shirts from the UW I went to. I'm not, though. I'm wearing one of my other shirts. Anyway, yeah, for Farfetch'd video, love you too, man. Love you too, Steven. Have a good night. So yeah, for the Farfetch'd video, I probably won't be putting any animations in. I might include it if there's some sort of thing from Sleep Official, but... Didn't know it had started already. Oh, the stream, yeah. Use a leak as a prop for the video. I would need to get a leak. I could... Maybe I'll run down to the store or something, I don't know. Greetings from Argentina. Greetings from the Midwest. I'll hold a leek or green onion during that video too. Man, I'm interested to see how Farfetch'd turns out. I've got a flying type candy that I could use on him, apparently. I don't intend to really be hunting him though. He'd have to be really something special for it. Which, as of right now, I'm not expecting it to be anything that I have a reason to hunt. Because I've already got Press Leak. The pun that I used for it that you guys came up with in a different chat. Or within a different stream. This guy. Makes plenty of leaks for me. Is there a level where you stop using handy candies to level up, or it depends on the sub-skills, ingredients, etc.? For me, nothing gets handy candies. Except for one thing. Just my Cresselia. It doesn't matter, because at this point, Cresselia candies are so ridiculously rare. Legendaries take more candies. And Cresselia is one of the few legendaries that actually cares about its levels, so... Given that I've been investing in Cresselia, that's the one thing that gets my handy candies. Nothing else. So my account's a bit unique, in that I'm investing in Cresselia, which takes, like, all my resources. Quackaball's already good, but new recipes might be 30+ leaks. My question then is like, my expectation, I'm not expecting, a lot of people are thinking that it's going to be insane for leaks. Mono lists doesn't mean insane for the, like, productivity of it. Case in point, Absol versus Blastoise, and this was a comparison that people made before Clodsire got released. It's a little bit better now because they buffed Absol. But if we look at their base productivity, ABB Blastoise versus Mono Absol is like a difference here of like 43 versus 40. Percentage-wise, that is... just based off the numbers that I'm seeing here. That's about 7% difference. That's the difference of a Help Speed M. I would expect the same difference between Quacklevolt and theoretical Mono Leak Farfetch'd. Because this is what they established. And this is after Absol got buffed. Absol used to be worse. So I'm kind of thinking they're going to do the same thing with Farfetch'd, because if they make it insane for leaks, I expect that to be just crazy, so I don't think it's going to be that crazy for leaks. And I don't expect 30 plus leaks because do you know how much strength that would be? Almost every ingredient in the game, every meal in the game with large meals, if we take a look at the recipes, their base strength is determined based off the strength of the ingredients multiplied by a percent modifier. As of right now, the best modifier percent we have in the game is 78%. But that's a little bit higher, probably because it uses apples. Yeah, leeks are strong. I use them instead of tails. I mean, tails are way better. It's not even close. There's a huge drop-off there. But leeks are significantly more powerful than mushrooms, which is the second one. I don't think my ABB Blastoise produces any milk. Might be me coping, though. I mean, it does produce some milk. It's just not much. For every... What was it? I need to look at it again. I don't remember the exact numbers of the products. For every 8 cacao it makes, it'll make about 2 milk. That's a 1-to-4 ratio. But yeah, think about if they make the new top meal. Take 30 leeks. Leeks base strength is... I don't even know. Let's see. Oh, darn it. I clicked the worst meal for that. Wait, I have this in this infographic. Why am I looking up there? 185. If they do 30 leeks in a 100 times 185, 5,500 times, if it's, let's say a 61% boost, because that's the pretty standard at that point. That means off the leeks alone would be 8,935 strength base, which is like already like half of the hidden power perk of stew with only 30 ingredients, which is a third of the amount of what goes into hidden power perk of stew. I wouldn't expect them to load a meal down with leeks, because leeks are, by the design, strong. And if they use a lot of them, then that meal is going to be really insane. Because then you could put a lot more filler in it. Which is a unique advantage that other meals wouldn't have. Because, yeah, they could just decrease the ingredient amount. So, I'm not expecting them to shift too much how many leeks we really need. And I'm expecting that if they do introduce Farfetch'd as a mono leek option, I'm expecting it to not be that much better than Quackable. Galarian Farfetch'd too. Wow, I love Surfetch'd. Surfetch'd is awesome. Surfetch'd really is awesome. I would agree with that. But, man, another 16-pip Pokemon that takes evolution. That's another thing. It's a 16-pip Pokemon. In order for a 16-pip Pokemon to be worth it, in my mind, it's gonna need to do something unique, kind of like the Dedenne. Making leeks is not unique to a 16-pip option, so you think the new curry is gonna be bigger than the apple acid salad? I do not think so, because I think that the devs, I would love it if they made something bigger, because then that would give a niche to pod expansion Pokemon. As of right now, if you are a premium player who uses the good camp ticket during all the most pivotal weeks, then pod expansion Pokemon really don't have a usage at all, other than like leveling meals in off weeks. So I would love to see them introduce a meal that you can't reach without a good camp ticket in terms of like for making that meal. Because as of right now, 104 is the cap with the apple acid salad. So I would love to see that. I doubt they're going to do it though, because of that exact reason. I don't think the devs want to make it so that people with the good camp ticket have to use a pod expander. But I would love if they did that, because I would love if those Pokemon actually saw some meta usage instead of just when not using good camp ticket, maybe using to level your... It's a weird skill. Tyler and Farfetch'd got an Evo. Oh yeah, you didn't know that? It's in Galar. Surfetch'd looks pretty dope. Will he be available in Sleep? As of right now, they haven't said anything about it. Surfetch'd it requires Galarian Farfetch'd, which they're not introducing Galarian Farfetch'd, they're just introducing Farfetch'd. So they're probably not adding Surfetch'd. I'm a past player. I still like Glaceon. They have their uses. It's just, if you're using them... Okay, they have more strength during events where they boost the meal strength as well. Because that's basically just a 1.5x boost to their skill strength. Yeah, it's regional. It's just like outside of the weeks that you're inside the weeks that you're using a good camp ticket, you don't need them to make the most powerful meals. And in that case, opportunity cost, that's always the consideration. What's going to produce more strength, that or the same amount of charge strength M is kind of how I always think about it. And charge strength M requires you use less ingredients, and typically speaking, comes out similar in strength. So unless you're using it to make a new meal you wouldn't be otherwise able to craft, I find that it's not amazing. Love my glaze. I'm fairly new to checking how good my Pokemon are. When using the site to rate my Pokemon, do I use the basic Pokemon or fully evolved Pokemon? If you're using the Rate My Mon functionality, I'd recommend using the fully evolved Pokemon because it's what you'd be looking at. Just well, it doesn't really matter anymore. Before I would have said make sure that it says times evolved. But realistically that doesn't really matter anymore because the only thing that adjusts is the main skill level. Before it would have impacted the inventory a little bit, but now it really doesn't matter. But yeah, I'd say just use the fully evolved because it's not going to make that much of a difference because they do the same thing. So the PR will change minimally, no matter if you use, like, say, a Blastoise versus a Squirtle, but it is something to, if you want to be more precise, I guess, like, running it at the max Evo is going to be a little bit better. The exceptions are Vigoroth and Chansey. Yes, that is true. Slacking, and then Chansey. Chansey's a questionable one. Yeah. If you get a Happiny, then consider if you'd rather it be a Chansey or Blissey. Which there are benefits and drawbacks to each. I really think Blissey is probably better for 99% of players. Onix? No, because they really are looking for the same sort of stats. So, I'd say Onix and Steelix, you could evaluate it as either or, and it's going to be roughly the same. Here, I'll prove it. Let's pull it up. Where's Onix in this list? I'll sort it. Onix. I'll do a quick evaluation to level 50 just to make it faster. Total strength. Here, if we're evaluating this Onix with just Berry Fighting S alone versus a Steelix with the exact same stats. Where is Steel? There it is. With just Berry Fighting S alone, just to level 50 for quicker calculations. They should be roughly the same. They might be a little bit off. So 58, 97, 92, 92, 87. 58, 96, 90, 91. Yeah, it shows up a little bit worse, but their numbers are very similar. Whoa, is this a premium? No, this is, well, some of this is premium. The probability is premium, but the rest of this is all free. So this last column is locked behind premium. And I think some of these things are also premium. I think some of the settings you can have here to adjust, but this functionality is in Rain on X free. I wish Rain on was more intuitive to use like Neroli's Lab. I think it does more stuff, but it's very overwhelming to try and start learning. Yeah, I would agree with that. I love how Neroli's Lab is very easy to learn. But Rain on X is definitely way more powerful. Like, there's no doubt about that. At least in its current state. It's probably got asked tonight, but are you raffling your friends list spots tonight? Not tonight. I'm going to give it till probably... I think the intent is Wednesday or Thursday. I'll make an official announcement in my video about it tomorrow, and I'll post some more things to the YouTube about when I'm going to do that. But tonight's not the night for the raffle. I want to make sure to give people just to roll in a few last-minute entries. It's going well. As of right now, the raffle has... Oh, it has this many people in it. We've got 90 entries. Yeah, we're on row 9. Oh, no. 89 entries. We're on row 91, which the first two rows are the title, so 89 entries. That's going to be quite fun to raffle through. I need to do more prep for that, though. But yeah, rate my Pokemon. I made a video about it sometime when I did my Rain on X guide. It's an interesting feature. It's very good if you're new to the game. It does have some fundamental flaws, though. PR is a very flawed way. It's an alright way of judging. It'll give you a rough idea of how good it is, but it won't give you the actual context of do you need it. So you gotta consider a lot more than just a Pokemon's PR before you decide to invest or not. And I guess that's my 2 cents about this, is it's good, but not perfect. But yeah, as you can see, they come in very similarly. My phone Rain on X always refreshes the whole page when I leave Chrome, so all the pre-selected Pokemon gets removed. Yeah, I've had that same issue before. It refreshes like the moment you swap over to another tab. I've run into that same thing. That's why I save like everything. I don't know if autosave might be a premium feature. I don't know if that... If you click this button, it'll save it every time. Otherwise, I think it's premium only that you can click the autosave, and it just refreshes every now and then. You can do that with... I always just leave autosave on because it's a lot easier to remember. Unless I'm doing something very specific. I find your rating by number of beneficial sub-skills is just as good as Rain on X to rate my Pokemon. I can't take credit for that. That's a Iben Brown thing. I've used it a couple times, but it's pretty much just the same idea. Yeah, it's pretty much, autosave is probably worth the subscription. Man, I would miss that so much. Having to click the save button after like every time I mess with stuff. That feels like something that shouldn't be premium. That feels like something that they should just do, because that's just a quality of life thing. Oh well. I found that using the Pokemon stats page on Rain on X to be super useful to see a general overview of different levels and fully upgraded for berry and ingredient specialists. Yeah, I mean, Pokemon stats? Is that in the Pokemon box? The stats? The Pokebox stats? I've never used this feature. I know it's in here, but I don't know. Berry ranking. Wait a minute. Oh, man. This is a lot of numbers. I never look in this tab. I don't even know what it all is saying. Level 60. I guess it's showing me all my producers of those berries. Yeah, that's the one. Okay, yeah. I never look in here, so I guess I don't really know all what it helps out. Wait, whoa. Distribution. Top 20%? Oh, so it's showing me the top X producers of my box for raw strength. That's kind of cool. Which, this is no shocker, but these are my top 19%. Top 1% Cresselia. Gives you a good idea of what to long-term invest for ingredients and berries. That makes sense. You can check what your ingredient ratings are. I can see where that'd be kind of nice. If you like to visualize it out more that way. I guess I just have a very good idea of... it doesn't take me very much time to figure out what's worth, but there is a website that one of you guys have been... I actually think it's the creator of this website. One of you guys have been talking a lot. You haven't no, I have not nicknamed my Rain on X Pokemon. That's very true. There's a website called Jolty1. One of you guys have been pushing me to make a video, or to talk about this before, and like look more into it. And I've done a little bit of analyzing into it. Jolty1, I think, is very, very powerful. And nobody knows it exists, I swear. Aside from, like, the one dude that's been leaving comments on my videos. And, like... I've been interested in it. I've been wanting to make a video about it. But right now, I've just been... Well, by the time that I came around to actually making a video on it... it was right when my computer died. And this one is a very, very system-intensive website. even it's, I think it might actually be worse than Rain on X for usage, as far as like how much computer power usage is. So, oh, I don't care about that. You guys can know my name. I've said it before. I mean, flashbang by the white background. Yeah, that's another thing. It's also not very visually appealing. I think Neroli's Lab is probably the cleanest. It probably was like Neroli's Lab, Ranex, and then this. But it's a very powerful tool, and I probably will make a video about it in the future. But I definitely think there's something here. But I've taken the time to upload all my Pokemon into it, and it's interesting. It's got like an investment tier list operation that you can set things, and I'm still learning it. I'm still learning it myself. So I'm waiting a little bit longer. It's an alpha version 0.0.3. But yeah. I wish that with the new Mono Oilmon was a 3-stager and not Mawile. I would just like... I want the new Pokemon to not be 3-stage. I hope that we don't get any single-stage Pokemon for, like, the next 5 or 6 releases. As of right now, the 16-pip Pokemon have just been... It's made it that either you have to spend a whole lot on the Pokemon that they're sending out, or that, or it just makes them unexciting, because you don't care, because they're too expensive or anything. Found that Jolty one wouldn't work to make a team because I put in too many Pokemon. Yeah, and that's also a thing with it. I'll go back to it. Jolty one, if you go into it, you can tell it, like, trim down which Pokemon you don't want. Like, I have all these Pokemon, which I was like, I don't want this to include any of these, because I know none of these would be useful for me. So then you can optimize based off just the Pokemon you leave in. So you can trim it down. But it's very interesting. And you can see, like, percentages of how often you might be running each one. Like I said, I think it's a very powerful tool. There's certainly a lot of potential here, but I haven't quite fully learned it. I do intend to make a video about it, though, because I do like to showcase things like this, because there's something here. Something here. Sinnoh boys, please. Reckon they'll announce the next starters during Anniversary Week. I reckon they'll probably release the next starters during Anniversary Week. If you look at the release date on the Paldean starters, let me find them. They actually released for the Anniversary Week. They were the Anniversary Week event Pokemon. So I'm thinking the anniversaries are probably going to be when they're releasing new starter trios in general. Having multiple 16-pip releases feels like the devs are trying to milk me from my hoard of Great Biscuits. Yeah, I don't know what their goal was with that, because it honestly just seems like it's ticked more people off than anything else. I don't think there was malice intended behind it, like they were just trying to get you to spend more biscuits. Because if that were the case, like, they've got to recognize that people don't like when there's that much expense being released all at once, especially on the heels of Darkrai being as expensive as he is. Like, they've got to realize that that'd be a mistake if, like, to get that greedy with things. So I think it's just they wanted to release a bunch of Pokemon that are fan favorites. Because, like, Mawile, people have been asking for Mawile for a while. Or, may not say asking for it, but it's a crowd favorite, is what I'm saying. Farfetch'd people have been begging for, but I do not think they could have released Farfetch'd at a worse time. I'm glad they're introducing it, because it's cool. And a lot of people have been begging and begging for Farfetch'd for leaks. But I do think it was the wrong timing to release Farfetch'd. Upcoming bundles aren't very attractive. I mean, that's usually the case with these events, like the Curry Week. I don't think the Valentine's Day bundles were all that appealing either. Or the Pack Portions one was only attractive because one of them had a seed in it. If you ignored that, I mean, they're just made for catching some Pokemon. So except for the new curry dishes, Curry Weeks are by far my worst. They're my worst too. They're easily my worst. I've looked through, like, my team building, and yeah, I cannot make anything great for curries. I've got phenomenal dessert teams. Salads are alright, and then curries are just ugh. But I'm excited that it's probably going to be a new curry with leeks. It's probably going to have leeks just because of the release of Farfetch'd, which my Quackable can go crazy with. But we don't know what it is yet, so if it has leeks and milk, I'll be real satisfied, let me tell you that. Was the pack event the first event that expanded the pot? Yes. Yes, it was. That was the first event we've ever had to expand the pot size without a good camp ticket. Curries are currently my best meal, which seems to be the opposite of most people. I actually know someone who, my buddy who got me into the game. He also has curries as his best week. So, I know some other people who have curries as their best, but I think that's just because the base value of the curries are, well, and they're also hidden power perk of stew is weird. I guess that's it. If I look at the recipes, the best curry right now, 19,000 versus 20,000 versus 20,000. It's the weakest by default if you can make all three. So then there's a steep drop off, like 20,000 to 19,000 here versus 20,000 to 17,000 versus 20,000 to 13,000. So like even if you're making not hidden power perk of stew, even the second best option is a huge drop-off where it's not as severe in the other two. So I think that's kind of why a lot of people struggle with curries. I've complained multiple times in the server about my lack of soybeans for curry week. Looking forward to the event. I mean, it makes sense. I do have a soybean golem candidate. But honestly, I'm just like, eh. I don't know if I want to ever invest it up. I'm currently using golem for potatoes, so I'd have to double invest. And my Tyranitar produces a solid amount of soybeans, so I'm not sure I really need to truly invest any of them. I make Dream Eater Butter Curry easy. Yeah, which Dream Eater Butter Curry is very easy. But a lot of players that are more late game are looking at more like the 20,000 meals, which do get significantly stronger. Weirdly, my Quackable's all beans, so I may have to hunt Farfetch'd. Ugh. Well, I mean, if you invested it for soybeans, I mean, you also could hunt Doug Trio. That one's a 5-pip option. There is a decent drop-off in productivity, but it is another option if you get the right stats. I don't know which would be harder. 16-pip all-right hunt on a mono Farfetch'd, or a 5-pip hunt for a absolutely, like, S-tier productivity Doug Trio. Because, yeah, how much would it take for a Doug Trio to be like, if we want, let's say, my Quackable's equivalents in terms of productivity. I'm going to change this to, like, a standard healer. See Farfetch'd in the server, what are your thoughts? Let me take a look. Oh, wait, I think I know what you're talking about. I think I did see it, if it's what I think it is. The Ditto? I think it was a Ditto. It was hilarious. It gave me a chuckle. Dream Eater Butter Curry is my highest level dish. It's 58 right now. I have no idea what curry I'll do when I'm done leveling it. Here's my hot take of the day. You don't need to make a different curry. Because if you can reliably make that dish all the time, why level a lower level dish? You'll never make that dish. Just always make the strongest dish. There's no reason to stop making it. Unless you can make a stronger dish, in which case that actually makes sense. I've seen some people be like, oh, I feel like I'm wasting XP on the meals, but like, meals are pretty bog standard. It's rare that you ever would want to make a weaker meal. Rare. There are situations if it synergizes with your team better. Maybe with expert mode coming around, there might be a case for it, but it's not a Ditto, just a very purplish duck. Yeah, purple duck. Very, very precise. But yeah, just keep making it, if that's what you're making. And then you have the strength every week that you're running from a level 65 meal. Which will help you gain more Dream Shards that week, because you have higher Snorlax strength. Snorlax strength leads to Dream Shards and Research XP, which leads to lower leveling. Don't bother trying to level another meal. It's not like Pokemon where they've got multiple purposes and multiple interesting spots in team building. A meal's a meal. It may feel wrong, but I think sometimes it is the optimal choice. Yeah. I just realized I never made dinner tonight. I never got around to that. My off weeks really do not make a... My off weeks, I really don't care much about the meals. You'll have a chance to get a new nice ingredient gathered for a new curry recipe. Yeah. I think some of the other curries will provide more strength when leveled up, so in theory, when I get a bigger pot, I feel like I should start working on something else. Well, the only curries that can make more than Dream Eater Butter Curry is Ninja Curry, Inferno Corn Keema Curry, or Hidden Power Perk Up Stew. There's no reason to make something that's less. Maybe Grilled Tail Curry, if you can reliably make tails. Because this one, even though it is weaker than Dream Eater Butter Curry, it takes such fewer ingredients. It's much more dense in terms of strength, which means you can fit more filler into Grilled Tail Curry, which means there might be some niche application, but anything less than Grilled Tail Curry, don't worry about it. And honestly, even that one, I probably wouldn't bother with. But Ninja, Inferno Corn, or Hidden Power Perk Up Stew are the only ones that, if you can't make those ones, stick with your Dream Eater Butter Curry until you can make any of those three. Charizard and Blastoise consistently farm tails. I mean, I don't know if that's consistent. That's how you're getting tails. Just use a Vaporeon. Or Heracross. I always forget Heracross is a thing. Even though it is technically the best for that skill now. 3 tails. I guess that is consistent. 3 tails a week is consistent. It's just not very good. And I get a better Leakmon, I'll probably be able to make Ninja. Perk Up feels way out of reach, though. I mean, it depends on what you all have. I mean, if you have a soybean... Soybeans are probably... A lot of people will have coffee Pokemon just because a lot of people recognize how good coffee was. Here's what I'm making for dinner. This is this week for me. Just using all my random ingredients to get them out of the bag to make more space for tomatoes. It's not even about strength. And I get more energy. Can't forget that. Crest actually kind of needs energy right now, so... Not opposed. Yay! 16,000 strength on a simple chowder. But yeah, generally speaking, if you can't make a stronger meal, just keep making the don't try to make a weaker meal to level it up. I'm also making simple 7 milk curry this week. It's nice and easy. Something that not very many other meals have over it. I don't even know where I'm getting... I guess I'm getting the milk from my Espeon. Because it's a mono milk Espeon. Might as well have just sold the individual ingredients. I mean, I think it is better to feed him to Snorlax, because genuinely the Dream Shards you get from selling ingredients, I think, is actually less. I haven't run the calculations on this, but I would not be surprised if it is less than the Dream Shard output you get from the Snorlax strength applied throughout the course of the week from each individual ingredient, because, man, the return on Dream Shards from selling them is so garbage. When I unlock Old Gold, I hope to be able to get consistent Coffee Mon, because the Clodsar I have mostly gives you Cocoa. I mean, that makes sense. Clodsar is renowned for Cocoa. That calculation would be so interesting. I've made similar comparisons in the past. I've talked about how horrendous the sell rate is. I remember I made a video. It was kind of funny, because I remember the comparison that I made was, okay, if we assume the maximum possible This is like a recap of one of my videos. I remember I used Quagsire. I remember the comparison was like, if you compared a Quagsire, if you assume that it always procs ingredients because you're getting the luckiest day ever, and you get the 10 potato proc every time, because I believe this was like the highest value in terms of Dream Shard sale procs of any proc in the game, and then you sold every single one of those potatoes, it was less than what just a very basic Swalot could do, even selling that many potatoes. And I had some people in the comments saying, maybe it could one day reach that if it's that comparable right now. And I'm like, that's not comparable. It was like, I'm assuming that a Quagsire was producing like roughly 3,000 potatoes a day, if you actually did the math on it, or something like that. And yeah, no Pokemon in the game is like making that many potatoes. No Quagsire can do that. My Mono Milk Espeon is a split milk ingredient mon. It's kind of cozy for team planning. Yeah, I do like having it be Mono Milk. I'm finding that I actually think I enjoy mono ingredient lists more on non-ingredient specialists than on the ingredient specialists, because I think the ingredient specialists produce so much that they can afford having one slot be not the same ingredient, which allows you to make like things where it's like a mixed list with synergy, as long as it is a synergistic list. Meanwhile, there's no way that a berry specialist or a skill specialist is contributing a significant portion with a split ingredient list, but you can actually consider their ingredient productivity if they have the mono list, because it can produce a significant amount for that meal. So I'm finding that I personally actually prefer... I'm finding that I enjoy the mono list more on the non-ingredient specialist, which is a bit crazy, because so much of the meta right now is focused around mono ingredient meta, which it is strong. Don't get me wrong. I will never say that a mono ingredient specialist is bad. I just think that people write off mixed ingredient specialists a bit too quickly. And I thought about writing something up about this tonight, but I just didn't. I decided to do this live stream instead. Also give you cocoa. Almost at 200 cocoa in the bag right now. Jeez, that's insane. Invest in Slowpoke Tails. Sell for massive returns. Don't they sell for like 12? I think they sell for 12 or something like that. If I'm right, I'm going to shock myself. Ah, it's 14. Darn it. I was so close. If you had 5 Quagsires. The thing is... Okay. How many Slowpoke Tails would you have to sell to just to be the equivalent of a sub-skill less Swalot? Let's see. If we have a Swalot with main skill level 8, no sub-skills, level 60, how much does it make? 11,872? You need 848 tails to sell to equal... Nobody's producing 848 tails in a day. If you are, then what sort of hacks are you using? What does your Ditto look like? I don't know what you're doing if you're able to do that. I think split ingredient mons are useful in theory, but in practice they're tricky to use. Like, I've got a great future Venusaur, but there's no meal that uses both honey and potato. Yes, which is why it matters. Mixed lists, I think, are viable, but they need to be certain mixed lists. There are certain ones that are currently unviable completely. Like, I will never vouch for... Do I have him saved? I need to see. Do I have this guy saved? No, I do. This guy. If I made this guy a Skeleurge, that'd be a mistake. This is one of the worst ingredient lists in the game. ABC Skeleurge. Whew. There's like no synergy on apples, herbs, and sausage. Other than maybe corn keema curry you could argue for. But there are better Pokemon for corn keema curry that synergize better with this. Primarily Dragonite Tyranitar, Dragonite Charizard. And the only thing that this synergizes with is Comfey. And then you're still just completely wasting the apples. So, like, this is one of the worst ingredient lists in the game. not investing it because there's nothing right now. But I'm holding on to him in case they ever do release a meal that uses these ingredients. In fact, if the meal that they're releasing for curries this week is apple, sausage, herb, and then leeks, I'll be ecstatic because I'll finally have a reason to invest this guy. Because just look at these sub skills. He is the most beautiful Skeleurge in every way except for the ingredient list. 848 tails a day. Seedless players are crying. Yeah. Let's see, if we made the best possible Ditto for tails. Help speed M, ingredient finding M. Ingredient finding S. With ingredient finding up nature. Level 7. Let's max ribbon just cause. Level 65. Makes 26 tails a day. With 4 of them you can make almost 100, or just over 100. If you could camp to get that. Let's assume they always have max energy for some reason. 32, you could get, not quite 200 tails in a day. You could not even make a quarter of that. At what point do you draw the line when it comes to dish strength? I like making soy donuts, but I feel like I'm wasting time by not only shooting for the very top meals. It depends. I usually check it out in team analysis and see how it compares. And it depends on how many ingredient versus berry specialists I'm running. Because I like fixed teams. I like to keep my team static because I know that I'm not the type of person that likes to swap around my teams a lot in the day. So I usually say non-negotiable Cresselia because it is my healer. And then past that, if it's like old gold, I'll do non-negotiable Gigachu. My Raichu that's about to be level 65. And then past that, I'm like, well, what can I make with that? I only have 3 slots for ingredients. What meals can I make? If we're in this week, I typically try to use my Raichu's like ingredients. So I have apples here. I could think about doing eggs, tomato, milk. Okay, what can I do with that? Well, milk, I've got my Espeon, which doesn't quite produce enough, but it produces a lot. Eggs, Chansey. Eggs on Chansey. Let's see. And then tomatoes on my Victory Bell. If we use all that, let's say they're all level 60 just because. And let's make this Chansey have a maxed out ribbon because it should eventually have that. Then I can just make a comparison and see. How much is it if I'm making this meal instead? And that's the apple acid. Let's say it's level 60. Then this team generates roughly 3.9 million strength. If I make up for the apple and the milk difference, 16 milk a day, we'll put in enough for 17, so 119 milk if I was to stockpile. And then 33 apples a day, that's 231. You can see it's like 4.25 mil. So that's decent, but what if we compare with a team that uses another Raichu? And this is just a little experiment. And let's say we want to keep the... Oh, whoops, not Ampharos. Sorry. Let's say we want to keep the Espeon on as well for the Cresselia Espeon combo. Or let's say I want to make usage out of my Gengar. Because it's got Berry Fighting S and the mushrooms. Then what can we do with that? Well, we can maybe go for Ninja Salad. And then that uses ginger from the Cresselia and soybeans and leeks if I run the Quaquaval instead. This is just kind of my thought process with things. So it's a weaker meal. Plug it all in. See how it all compares. And I did this in a video recently, actually. I compared for what I'm doing for Curry Week. Ninja Salad. Let's say it gets level 60 for an even comparison. I do need to stockpile more ginger and more soybeans, but that's alright. 245 soybeans. Which is totally within the bounds as long as this stays below 700. And then 21 ginger is 147 across those days. Then I can see that after I enable Old Gold Power Plant, it comes out to 4.948 million. So, comparing them, 4.948 versus 4.258, this second team is well worth running over the first team because it just comes out stronger, despite using a stronger meal or weaker meal. So that's kind of how I consider that, is what does it actually show in Rain on X when I build them. Now, if you're rotating the teams, you can afford more slots to ingredient Pokemon. So it's not perfect, especially if you use a more rotating team strategy, as a lot of people do. And as you get meals higher, theoretically the difference becomes bigger, because the berry level doesn't scale with the meal level, but the team with the stronger meal is going to do better comparatively. Like 4.45 million versus 5.1. So it still shows up better on this one, but that's just the comparison that I typically make. Yeah, Ditto can make more tails if it triggers multiple level 7 ingredient magnets, but that also requires that you run other non-tail producing Pokemon. So there might be a balance there of running like one Vaporeon or Heracross to get more tails, but I'm not quite sure how that would actually compare. 3 healers and a Dedenne at max skill. What skill should I focus next? Dream Shard, Cresselia, Pod Expander, Ingredient Magnet, Charge Strength, or Entei? So I wouldn't recommend Cresselia since you have 3 healers already, unless you have a really good Cresselia to invest and you want to improve there, but I think there are other potential things. Ingredient Magnet's a weird skill. Honestly, I've struggled to kind of find a good usage for it. Because it's difficult to make meals off of it, because it just gets you a little bit of everything, and using ingredients as fillers is suboptimal, by definition. That it is only optimal to use ingredients in a meal as the base meal if you can. Charge Strength is decent if you need a generalist role, but if you have a really strong berry specialist, that may not necessarily be needed. Pod Expander, if you're free to play, maybe. If you're not, then consider how often you'd actually use it. And then Entei, if you have a good Entei and want to Berry Bomb, then I'd say that's probably a priority. Otherwise, Dream Shard Magnet is very good for Dream Shard farming. And it's what I'm currently investing. Super Luck is my next favorite skill to level. Super Luck is weird. I see potential in it, but I don't know how to feel about Super Luck, if I'm honest. I caught a really good Murkrow, but I don't think I'm going to be investing it anytime soon. I just have too many things that are drawing my skill seed supply, so I can't afford to give it to a Honchkrow. For something that kind of has a weird spot, a very weird spot in the meta, just kind of trying to make Hidden Power Perk Up Stew, sort of. Mine's got Mono Coffee, though. And it's really good for procs. Is there ever a case for non-mono Quagsire? Quagsire, there's no case for the sausage. I will just say that outright. I don't think there's really anything that has mushroom sausage. I guess there's this, but it takes such low amounts that you can do that with, like, berry specialists, honestly. So I wouldn't recommend the sausage in it. Potatoes and mushrooms, though, I actually made a case for it a while back. One really nice thing is that Spore Mushroom Curry, if you have ABA, yes, it is a very low meal, but if you can make it with a single Pokemon, there is some value in that, because it gives you a ton of flexibility for your other 4 team slots. So there's a case to be made. I don't know if it's a strong case, because realistically, if you're trying to metagame it, you're probably going to be able to make teams even without that extra flexibility. But I think there's something interesting with ABA Quagsire specifically. Can the crit for Super Luck trigger multiple times a day? I believe so. I haven't heard the contrary. If I gotten a really good Murkrow, I might have invested, but alas, yeah. I'd say that's kind of the case for any 16-pip Pokemon, as it is with legendaries. Even a good Murkrow, though, is very bizarre. Like, did I save mine? Did I save it? I did. It's this guy. If I get him to level 60, make him a Honchkrow, max out its main skill level, get him to like 500 hours. He's proccing 7.2 times a day. He's making like 25 of each ingredient. Oh, that's interesting. They found that, I guess, coffee's a little bit more common than the others. That's weird. Oh, and sausage. Huh, weird. I know that they're still tracking the numbers on these things, I think, so... I need 17 more skill seeds to fully invest in my Metronome team. This may take a while. Go at it with the Metronome team. The Metro Normies. I think that's hilarious. I've been wanting to see a full Metronome team. I think it'd be amazing. Even though it probably wouldn't be amazing. What a mad lad. Yes, indeed. Oh, snap. You're live. Not doing a tier list tonight? No, the tier list is next Tuesday. Not this Tuesday. Next Tuesday. Well, Wednesday for some people. Depends on your time zone. Either Tuesday night or Wednesday morning. Depending on your time zone. But yeah, it's just kind of weird. Like, the sausage is kind of just guaranteed waste. But then the rest can get used. But it can make, like, one hidden power perk of stew, minus the tomatoes. With my current stats, I guess I could get a few health bonus stacks on him. That would help a little bit, but... The live stream would be about this time. It'd be a little bit earlier. I'm intending to do it at 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. I started this live stream at around 11. So it'd be about 2.5 hours-ish earlier than what I started this one at. But depending on how long it takes, it could be running this late. I don't know. We'll see how much discussion there is to be had. I'm assuming that with the second portion, where I open it up for discussion with chat, I have no clue what to expect with that, because I've never done that before. All my video, and I do get a ton of comments from people always arguing, oh, this should be here, this should be here, or you were wrong about this one. I always get a ton of comments on that on the tier list videos. So I'm expecting there to be a lot of that in chat of people disagreeing with me, which is why the first half where I'm actually doing just the recording of my tier list video, you guys can chat. You'll be able to talk freely. You can comment about what you think. If you think that some sort of decision that I'm going down is stupid, you can all laugh at me in chat, but I won't see a bit of it. I'm going to have chat minimized. So, Wobbuffet was buffed to make the B tier at least. Yeah, I don't think that's the case. I mean, I haven't done it yet. You'll have to just tune in to see, but something tells me that Wobbuffet is a pretty easy one to place. I'll probably be asleep during the first half, miss the beef. If the debate is still going at 11:05 CST, I'll be there for the heresy. Oh gosh. I wouldn't be surprised. And even if it isn't, honestly, I may just continue the live stream just to chill and chat with you guys. Even if it's not about the tier list. But I'm interested to see what you guys all say. Is it somehow the meta to use skill seeds in this order? Gardevoir, Dedenne, Swalot, Ampharos. Depends on what you have and what you need. If you need a generalist, honestly, there is a strong case, actually, to make investment into an Ampharos before an Energy for Everyone healer. That sounds absolutely insane. But let's say you're early game, okay? And you caught... Let's say you caught the Pseudo-Wudo of your dreams. Which isn't even a very good Charge Strength M Pokemon. And let's say you can only get them to, like, level 25 right now, because it's very early game. And you caught one with, like, Help Speed S, Skill Trigger S. One day you might be able to sub-skill seed it. But it's just kind of mid right now. But if you want to invest all your main skill seeds into it, like, there's this. it's producing 24,000 strength a day. If the rest of your team's like, let's pretend a Pikachu, because, well, let's make it a Raichu. Let's pretend that you've gotten the, you've happened to stumble upon a Berry Fighting S one. Maybe you, soft reset to get, like, Berry Fighting S and even Help Speed M. And you have it at level 25. Maybe able to soft reset for that as well, but eh. And let's say you have like 2 other roughly equivalent comparisons of that. They're producing half the strength the Sudowoodo is, and even if they have Berry Fighting S, or Favorite Berry, they're still not producing as much as what the Sudowoodo does. So let's say this is your team. You could do this, or instead of that, you could have... Let's say the last one is a Wigglytuff, or let's even make it a Pawmot. I wouldn't be surprised if a Pawmot comes with less. Now that might be interesting because of Favorite Berry, but... let's make it a Pawmot. Because that's the best early game healer possibility. And you'd have to get super lucky for this too. Then comparatively, 879k... versus 800k. I guess that's a little bit better. But I don't think you have this many Berry Fighting S Raichus that early game. So this is not really a fair comparison. But realistically, like, the point here is that they're not even that far apart. And this is running 4 really solid Raichus. Yeah, you probably know for a Thunderstone, that's true. So there is a case, I'd say, to be had for actually investing Charge Strength M earlier game than a healer, even. But I think it really just comes down to what you catch. If you catch a Wigglytuff right away, that's got Skill Trigger M, Help Speed M, Skill Chance Up Nature, you know what? Invest it. That's what I'd say. If you catch the Pawmot, invest it. If you catch the Sudowoodo with the stats of your dreams, maybe that's actually the investment instead. In fact, actually, I'm interested to see now. I just deleted that team, but I need to refresh Rain on X. Give me a minute. Every once in a while, Rain on X will, like, get really slow, and it's starting to do that. Okay, there we go. If we just change this so that it's actually, like, even better for triggers, like it has a skill trigger up nature. I'm interested to see if I can ever make it that this team is better. 826k? I guess not. I'm interested to see if I can ever get this one to be better than the other one. 867k. Okay, I guess it's just not going to happen. That's alright, though. Instead of Sudowoodo, we're looking at... Let's go with Wigglytuff, because that's honestly more realistic. 875 versus 867. So, I think it's more just about what you catch early game. As for Dream Shard Magnet is a very late game skill, I'd say. Because in an early game, you're really wanting to level up your research rank more, which Swalot will give you Dream Shards, but it cuts into your Dream Shard or your research XP productivity by doing so. Because even though your sleep research will give you Dream Shards, and Swalot may give you more Dream Shards than sleep research will. The bigger thing that you're cutting yourself out on is the research XP. Late game, that doesn't matter as much. Rank ups are so few and far between that it doesn't really matter all that much, and eventually when you get maxed out, they just get converted to Dream Shards anyway. But early game, I think that matters a bit more, so I'd suggest... And you don't need as many Dream Shards. Everything that costs things, you can usually pay for with the Dream Shards that you get early game, so... Meanwhile, Dedenne is also a very late game skills Pokemon, I'd say. It's very good, but it's really only good when you have good meals for it to scale on. But you're not making anything past, like, this bar, I'd say. This is, like, the bare minimum bar where it might be worthwhile. Other things are just going to be better for opportunity cost, I'd say. Fully invested Ampharos skill trigger. Oh, I forgot about Ampharos. Well, I didn't forget about it. I was just trying to make it with Pseudo Wudo. Where was that? Okay, what if we made it Ampharos instead? This is a good question. But again, that's also being a bit unfair because it has favorite berry. So 903k versus... Let's change it to Palmot so that it also has the favorite berry going for it. $933k versus 903k. Yeah, they're still a little bit better with the other one. For skill trigger M, neutral nature, or Gigachew with help bonus, berry fighting us, and nothing else. That's gonna be a lot more of a difficult comparison to make, though. Ampharos is just a side grade to Pseudo Wudo. There's a hot take for you. Honestly, okay, if I really wanted to min-max this more, I could... Technically, Golduck is stronger. If you're... if you're doing the whole Golduck thing. Well, let's just say favorite berry, just to... If you're doing the whole gather every proc thing. With the free expanded pot, I made 21 Clodsire Eclair meals and hit Master 20 at Greengrass easy. Yeah, if you're making Clodsire Eclairs, you're gonna hit Master 20 at Greengrass. In fact, something that's very interesting, you can master... Okay, let's see. I made this comparison once. Vikavolt. AAC. Just hold on. You gotta see this. Good camp ticket. Oh, not that. It's Clodsire Eclairs. If it's level 65... This is gonna blow your guys' minds, okay? Hear me out. Vikavolt, level 65. We'll make them level 65 for the comparison's sake. 2 of them, okay? Not making quite enough coffee, but that's alright. Let's make a Clodsire with, like, ABA, I think is what I figured out. No sub-skills. Yeah, we're making plenty of honey there. And then Blastoise. 65. We'll do ABA. Okay, this one might need to be AAB. Yeah, okay. This team, no energy recovery at all. No healer. No sub-skills even. Just straight ingredient specialists. I think this is hilarious. They can reliably make Clodsire Eclairs, and let's say you go to Greengrass Island and have max area bonus. Boom, Master 20. Sub-skills don't matter, people. They don't matter, apparently, anymore. Healing doesn't matter, either. This is just a thing. It all does matter. Don't worry about it. It's just a interesting thing that I noticed. Who has that? I mean, anyone can get this. If you think about it, if you're willing to invest them up to level 60, if you're willing to invest garbage Pokemon to level 60, you can do this. Yeah, this is something funny. The power of area, and this is like comfortably Master 20 at Greengrass too. This is how easy Master 20 at Greengrass is. You don't need sub-skills, you don't need... Anyone can catch any AB, as long as it doesn't have ingredient finding down. Einstein level theoreticals here. I don't even know how I discovered this. I just figured this out one day and pieced it together. That this arrangement of Pokemon with no sub-skills, no nature... In fact, I wonder if you can do it with ingredient finding down natures. I doubt that. I highly doubt that. I'm sure you'd be short on at least one of the ingredients. Yeah, you would get short on the coffee after you change the second Vikavolt. I only believed you did it first try right now. No, I've done this before. I'm not going to let you think that. But yeah, this is the team. Are there teams like this for salads and curries as well? I think I came up with one for curries. It's not as reliable as the dessert one is. It would have to be the strongest meal. No doubt about that. I guess I'll see if I can do it in the curries. Okay, so... Coffee and cacao, that's immediately ringing out Clodsire. Is it any worthy to use the 4 chances at Cramomatic? I think the 4th is just try... Yeah, I don't recommend the 4th use of the Cramomatic. Unless you really have a lot of unspent Dream Shards, because you're a Dream Shard hoarder. I really wouldn't recommend it. Okay, that gets us nearly all the cacao. Nearly... Wait, it's still set to... I forgot to change it. That makes sense. Okay. Coffee, soybean, tomato, mushroom. So I'm thinking Luxray. The pot size for the team? I was assuming good camp ticket. Yeah, good camp ticket. That's how. Which I guess is kind of cheating because that does give 20% more ingredients, but it's all in hypotheticals. Okay. Needs to make him level 65. Okay. 2 Luxrays can get us there. Now, what's interesting is this one might be able to function without good camp ticket because we have 2 Luxrays. And Luxrays can expand the pot. Good camp ticket weekly over healer is hilarious. Yeah. Then soybeans and mushrooms. Hey, that's like Golem. AAC Golem. That's perfect for AAC Golem. The funny things you can do when you just plug and chug. Oh, it doesn't quite make it. It almost does on Hidden Power perk up. It doesn't quite make it. I may have this team with helping bonus too. I mean, if one of these guys has helping bonus, that would be enough to tip it over. Yeah, just one of them needs helping bonus. If any of them. Any single one of them does. But it's close. Woo, yeah. You'd probably miss 1 meal out of the week. Time to catch them 2 more golems. Yeah, you're making a ton of extra soybeans there. Buff Luxray. Yeah, I mean, you could... You're missing a little bit of mushroom and a little bit of tomatoes. Wait a minute. I just thought of something. I thought of another option. Oh gosh. This is real levels of dumb. Because this one's gonna cost a lot of main skill seeds too. Wait, nope, no sub-skill seeds. Or sub-skills, that's the rules. But we didn't say anything about main skill seeds. It doesn't even produce enough coffee. Oh, wait, no, it does. It makes plenty of coffee. Okay, so if we make them... One of them produce soybeans... It doesn't produce enough mushrooms, though. Darn. And it doesn't produce quite enough tomatoes, either. If we make it reroutes, that's more soybeans. Yeah, we can almost get it with Honchcrow. Almost! But Honchcrow can't make more mushrooms. It's like we beat 4 birds with 3 stones. Just a lot of birds, okay? You make 71 bonus coffee a day. We don't need all that coffee, but... well, okay. What if instead of one of them, we're making ample amounts of coffee? What if the last one is Golem? With the AAC Golem. Then we probably can get it. You hear me out? No, it's missing the mushroom. Oh, wait. I didn't put it at level 65. Give me a minute. A mob of crows. Yep. Okay, this is still way more... soybeans than needed. Oh, but it's not producing enough mushrooms. That's the problem. Wait! We reached balance that we're only missing tomatoes. Tomatoes are the one thing. I don't... We can almost do it like this. If only Luxray was slightly... Wait, you can do any Mono Tomato Mon. I think Luxray is the best, though, for Mono Tomato, if I'm right. I think it's either Luxray or Abomasnow. It's either one of them. No, they're about the same. We can almost do it. We're just a little bit shy. Because I know Victory Bell is worse. Mime? Mime could be interesting with the main skill. But it's definitely worse for the... I know it's worse for the ingredients. That's really what we're looking for here. If we max out its main skill, because it would duplicate the Haunch Crows. This is funny to look at. It's the murder, yes. Yes, this is how I expect expert mode to feel like theory crafting as well. I'm honestly expecting that expert mode we're going to be toying a lot around with these settings, specifically in Rain on X. That's my expectation, but we'll see. There's a lot of extra soybeans here, that's funny. If only we could just make a little more tomatoes. Nothing's quite good enough, though. Nothing is good enough. Luxray is the best. Unless, hear me out, I think there's one thing we could do that still doesn't take sub-skills. And that is give it hours slept. Because a little bit more inventory might get a few more tomatoes a day if we're running into inventory problems at all. Which I don't know if we are. We're not, apparently, because that made 0 difference. So yeah, I don't think there's a way to do it with curries. I can barely napkin calculations at Monday morning. Challenge mode will be rough for me. I do all my calculations prior too, except for expert mode will probably require that we do it Monday morning because we'll have to roll and then see. Oh, that'll be rough because I don't have very much time on Monday mornings to do calculations. If it's anything like this. Fortunately, I know my way around Rain 9X, so I'm not too concerned. I still find that dessert team hilarious, though. Let's see, is there something for salads that can make the top salad? It is Defiant. Oh, I'm sure we can do it with Defiant. I am very confident we can do it with Defiant. Wait, is this a... Oops. Ignore that. You know what? Fine. We'll just delete it. Defiant coffee dress salad, level 65. Because I know there was always discussion about Aggron and Cramorant as a power pair. I think it was AAB Aggron, if I'm right. Oh, the sausage over productivity there. And then a discussion about Cramorant with oil and potentially potatoes. If not, we could maybe make Cramorant like ABB for potatoes. Made 2 of them. And then a Luxray. No, there's no way a Luxray is doing both coffee and that. Maybe if we did this. That makes it make more sausage, but then we can dedicate this one to just coffee. Oh, so close. Aggron and Cramorant power pair is a phrase that would have meant nothing to you 2 years ago. Yeah, that is very true. I cannot deny that. Get rid of Aggron and bring the Mob Burk back. Wait a minute. Oh yeah, because it makes coffee and sausage. Does it make oil, though? It doesn't make oil. I don't think that would actually help us any. It makes plenty of coffee here. Oh, but you're saying for the extra sausage. So what if we got rid of... If we made just sausage? Then we're not making quite enough coffee. Okay. There's a really fine balance game here. We're making plenty of potatoes. Maybe we can get more oil here? There's a fine balance here, and I don't think we're meeting it. I don't think we'll be able to make it on salads either. Sausage, oil... Wait a minute. Toxicroak. Yeah. Someone else thought it. Just time to bring in ABC Luxray. No, I was thinking it right before I saw one of you guys posted in chat. Toxicroak. Because this guy is going to produce actually a shocking amount of coffee. What about ABA? Level 65? This is a puzzle here. Okay, it's going to need more sausage than that. ABB. Oh, barely not enough. Still. Well... And we need these Cramorants to be producing this exact amount of potatoes. I don't think it's possible. Because there's nothing that makes the... I guess the ABC Luxray... But it's missing the... It's missing the sausage. This might get it, but... no, it doesn't even make those. I think we're shy. AAB on both birds? If I do that, then I'm shy on potatoes. Then I make enough oil, though. Legendary Beast. Okay, now we're really stretching there. And then I'm gonna make coffee. I could see how... Is there... It doesn't have synergy with any of these. Iggly buff? The whole thing was no energy for everyone as well. That was a point that I was making with it. I guess if I threw in Suicune and gave it a maxed out main skill, that might help a little bit. That gets us enough oil. That actually helps us a lot more than I would have expected. In fact, if we got rid of this guy and put in an Aggron instead, maybe. If it was like an ABB Aggron, maybe? And you have AA. That's what's wrong with Igglybuff. Yes. AAA Raikou with ABB Aggron. Oh my gosh, I forgot that Raikou has sausage. I stinking Raikou having sausage. I guess that does make a difference. Then we don't need as much. We can do more oil on the Toxicroak, which means we can put more potatoes on the Cram. We're still missing in the coffee department. Unless we can get rid of a Cramorant. Woof, that really cuts back our potatoes, though. Is there anything that has oil and... Oh, wait, yeah, Cramorant. Oh, man, that's how you know I'm getting a little tired already. I guess we are overproducing oil, so... We could go for ABB. Then we're just missing coffee again. Which I guess we could just do... Wait a minute, I think we found it here. This is where it is, people. No, it still isn't. Wow! That's a lot of coffee. A mono Vikavolt can't make enough? Huh? I didn't realize that Defiant took that much coffee. That's insane. That is insane. Well then. It is wild, yeah. I thought that it would at least, like, I guess if this has one and that's being boosted by a Raikou as well. I guess if we use Luxray for oil, yeah, one of you guys is saying that. If we use Luxray for oil, that buffs Raikou more. Wait. Luxray synergizes with Raikou. If we have A, B, C Luxray, Then we're just lacking on the potatoes, though. Maybe... Okay. I thought the Vika would say... I thought it would too. If only Vikavolt was an electric type. That would do it. That would do it, in fact. Is Raikou seeded? Is it supposed to be? Yeah, I did main skill seed it. What if I give all of them sleep hours? Well, that wouldn't matter. That would only matter for the Vikavolt and the Raikou. Which it doesn't matter. Man, we're so close. I feel like this is the closest we've gotten with it. This is just funny. There's no way anyone's making this team, but... this is the strongest of the ones that we made, too, though. It's good camp to get out. Yeah, it is. It is. The problem is you're fighting the energy curve. That's the real problem. That's why the Vikavolt's not producing as much as you'd expect. Only 60 coffee a day. And then 10 extra from Raikou. So 70 coffee a day with that. I am still just shocked by that. Okay. Is there... I'm not sure there's anything I can do with this. Anything that we... I guess if we traded... Is there anything that makes sausage and potato? Naps with recovery incense. I guess you could do that, but I don't know how to log that in Rain on X. There's not really a good way to do that in Rain on. Maybe a healer would help. Big shocker there. Big shocker that a healer would help. It's almost like that's part of what we're trying to do here is do without a healer. What else makes coffee? Man, this is testing my Pokemon sleep knowledge. I think this is going to be one that we'll just be slightly off from. If Galarian Farfetch'd was a skill specialist, would he keep the same skill as Farfetch'd? Well, we don't have any precedent for regional variants of skill specialists yet. The only examples that we have of regional variants so far would be of Alolan Vulpix and then Clodsire. I think we have the closest when we have the Crow out. Potato coffee on Clodsire? Wait. Clodsire doesn't have potatoes, does it? Wait a minute. I guess I don't... Wait, what's Clodsire's C ingredient? It is potatoes! I still don't think that helps us, though, because we're dealing with an ABC list. I guess it makes enough potatoes. I guess that... Wait a minute. Wait a minute. This is... Wait a minute! What? This almost works. 1 oil a day. I never thought that ABC Clodsire would come out of nowhere for this. Can I do this? No, because then we're lacking in sausage. In Clod we trust. This is the puzzle nobody imagined anyone would be doing. Okay, so the one making oil is this Toxicroak. So let's see. Is it running into inventory problems? Oh my gosh. -0. That means that it is less than 1 away. We are making 66.00. It is less than 100th of an oil per day away. Wait, does that mean that my clock could... What's Cram's in? Wait a minute. Can hours slept fix Cram? I forgot Cram was making oil as well. We did it! It only took that much finagling. ABC Clodsire was the piece of the puzzle that we were missing to just barely inch this over the edge. I'm glad this is going to be on YouTube to document this. But Master 20, a team that can reliably make it without any healers, and without any sub skills as well. If you make this team, you become a death. Oh, you'd have to invest a lot of skill seeds as well. What's interesting is because Cramorant's on the team, you could actually make it even stronger by just maxing out Cram's skill. Because it has Tasty Chance. 4 million Snorlax strength. Literally anywhere that you have max area bonus. That's not only Master 20 at Greengrass Island, but it's also Master 20 at Cyan Beach. Not quite there at Top Hollow. It probably can't do it. What's interesting is this team is horrendous. 3 of these do not have Favored Berry anywhere. So, the next island, though, this could be funny. Too bad I have AVA Toxicroak, not AAB. What's funny is I have this Vikavolt. I do not have this Clodsire. I don't think I have this Cramorant except for maybe on the sleepers. Also looking for a Mono Raikou. Good luck with that. That isn't main skill chance down or ingredient finding down. If it has either of those natures, that would kill it for this purpose. And I don't want to try and think about the rarity of a Mono Raikou with no ingredients or main skill chance down. Or even Speed of Help Down would probably kill that enough. I think even Speed of Help Down would make it not make enough. I have a Raikou with it. My new hunt has started. Yeah, even Speed of Help Down hurts it. But even one Pokemon on this team having Helping bonus would help them further and make it a lot easier. What's crazy is I have a Raikou with ingredient. Because in case they share main skills, there's a chance Farfetch'd skill is Tasty Chance S, since in the mainline games, you need to get 3 critical hits during a battle before Galarian Farfetch'd to evolve. It could be the case. That'd be kind of cool. It'd be interesting if they gave the second bird ingredient. Well, we assume it's an ingredient specialist. We don't know what it's going to be. ABB Arcanine for ability. What? I do not know skill specialists ingredient list. No Mawile. Not for this. It's got corn, tomato, oil, and potato. Which I guess having oil and potato would help a little bit. And then, but the other ingredients wouldn't really be playing into this, so I don't think that'd be as good as, say, Cramorant. What is Arcanine's ABV list? I don't know Arcanine's... Is it herb sausage sausage? I don't know the skill specialist's ingredient list. I guess I do. It's herb sausage sausage. I mean, I think it would hurt it more because then you're not working with an ingredient specialist. I think it's better to just this team right here needs framing. This is an impressive feat. I did not think it was possible for a while there. And it's barely making it on some of these too. Like +1, +2, those are not very high confidence intervals. I'd be confident with the +8 and the +12. But these I'd want to make sure I have some stockpiled to make sure I can't get screwed by bad RNG. Or just by not checking, because even if we just change the check time, that's going to decrease Raikou's procs. Let's say we only check once every hour. Which, don't actually trust this 100%. It shows the concept well, but it doesn't actually give you precise measurements. I guess that actually doesn't change it that much. If we only check once every 2 hours, that doesn't decrease much either. Oh well. Unless they fixed it. I don't know if they fixed that to actually be accurate, but I know that they didn't have it updated for double banking for a while. Oh, just suggesting the dog as a weaker substitute for Raikou. That makes sense. We could test it out. But that... Oh. Arcanine's a lot worse at doing that than Raikou is. And it's barely making it as it is. Damn, Raikou... Or wait, no... He has more ingredient procs on those, so... I don't know, we'd have to just see. Yeah, it's not making quite enough. Why does Cubone only have 2 ingredients? It's not the only one like that. Toxicroak's even like that. I think I know Toxicroak, Mareep, and Marowak are the 3 that come to mind that only have 2 ingredients. I believe the reasoning... We actually don't know the reasoning behind it, but they only Pokemon that were released at launch are like that. There's been no Pokemon added to the game since launch that only have an A and a B ingredient. So, the theory back then was that it was to leave it open for potential new ingredients, but then as new ingredients got added, they didn't fill them in. So we just don't know why they made them like that. I know that, like I said, it's Marowak, Toxicroak, and Ampharos line are the 3 that I can think of. There might be more. But those 3 specifically, I know, don't have any... don't have a C ingredient. Give them all leeks. Toxicroak with leeks would be interesting. That'd be the most significant one, just because it's actually an ingredient specialist. And that would give it some interesting synergy with Ninja Curry. But then it would need to be ABC, which is going to be having problems. As for Ampharos, it's got herbs and eggs. So, I don't know what you do with that with leeks. Herb, egg, leek. And then, what was the other one? Oh, Marowak. That's ginger, cacao. Ginger, cacao. So then leeks with that? Ugh. Is that... I guess ginger and leeks are in Zingzap. And Marowak has a shockingly high ingredient rate. I will say that. They would all be horrible for synergy. Yes, they would be. That'd be horrendous. Okay. Yeah, I wonder what they would... If they were to give them new ingredients, what would... That would shock people. They'd be like, wait, why does Ampharos suddenly... Or my Mareep have a 3rd ingredient that we've never seen with it before? I think it's just those 3. Are there... Someone please tell me in the comments if there is something else. Marowak does have charge energy, yes, so it's invited to the No Healers Needed club. Yeah, this club of... The Clodsire, honestly, is probably doing really well just because it has self-healing. Yeah, its self-healing is carrying it a lot. If I was to try and counteract that a little bit by giving it, I don't know, like, main skill chance down just to get rid of a few of those procs, and say XP gains up so that it's not... Does that hurt it enough? I mean, it doesn't... The thing is, it's producing coffee and potatoes, which those are the highest confidence interval ones, so... Like, I don't think that it's really helping it that much. That might be it. I don't know. Even giving it main skill chance down, it only gives it 2 procs a day. That does help it a little bit, but I don't think it's significant enough to make a big difference. Clodsire self-healing, what do you know? Meganium, no, Meganium I think does have a C. I think it's leeks, honestly. Meganium's funny because at one point in time there was actually a bug in the game that allowed Meganium, some bay leaves had leeks as their B ingredient. You could get all 3 options in the level 30 slot with a 3 leek proc. Because it was this C proc glitched out and was given in level 30 as well on some. And some players have those. They didn't get rid of the ones that had that. They just made it so that they'd stop spawning that way. So if you have one, you have a very rare legacy Chikorita or Bayleaf Meganium. It probably sucks because I think it was only like that for like a weekend. Like, they fixed it very fast. Yeah, they didn't take them away. They exist in some people's boxes, but they're extraordinarily rare because I think it was literally like the first weekend or so of the game, or like the first week. They fixed that bug very quickly because I think they realized that was kind of stupid. But yes, it was possible to get leaks in the B slot. Some people unlocked leaks with their Meganium. And that's the only Pokemon that's been like that so far. There's never been any other example of them messing up like that with an ingredient list, and then retroactively getting rid of it from potential ingredient lists. But I don't even know if there's anything good with a Cacao Leak Honey or Cacao Leak Meganium. I don't even know how many leaks it would produce. And honestly, if I had it, I would kind of hate it. Just because it'd be so difficult to do any calculations in Rain on X. Because Rain on X doesn't have a setting for it. Because it's not a thing that most players have. And if you do have it, it probably sucks. Because the odds that you caught a good one during that very short period of time when it was possible is so slim that I'd be surprised if there... I would not be surprised if there is not a single good double leak Meganium in the entire world. Farfetch'd will only have Coco at 30 as a reference to this. That'd be hilarious. If it does happen, I doubt it's a reference to this bug. But that'd be funny if it coincidentally does. And if it is a reference to this one bug at launch when they're under a different dev team now, I would be shocked. Because, yeah, Meganium's got Cacao. I'd be interested to know if they make it base leaks. How many? I'm interested to see just like how low its ingredient rate is going to be, because that's the thing, is they balance out high ingredient procs with either lower frequencies and like low amount of ingredient procs per day to balance it out. Like if we compare to, say, Quagsire. Because Quagsire currently has the highest base value ingredient for its A ingredient in the game. So the other ingredient proc amounts are derived from the mushroom base value. If Farfetch'd has leaks at base, then theoretically it's going to be like an even more extreme curve than what Quagsire has. My guess is Farfetch'd will be better than Dugtrio and comparable to Quaquaval. It makes a lot of sense in a lot of ways, even as Mono Leak. My guess is it'll be better than Quaquaval, but by such a small amount that it's not worth rehunting if you already have the Quaquaval. And I wouldn't even say it's going to be worth hunting in general, because it's a 16-pip Pokemon. Quaquaval, I think, is still going to be most players' pick for leaks, just because of how expensive the 16-pip hunt is. I was looking for a water type. Slowpoke only gets tails at 30, so I can see Farfetch'd getting leak at only 30 as well. I could see it. I would prefer that. Honestly, I kind of hate the idea of leak at base. Just because it's... I think that there's something about the level 30 unlock. It makes it fun. It makes it so that when you get that Pokemon to level 30, it feels very gratifying. And getting it to level 60 is extremely gratifying because ABB options aren't really viable until level 60. So having an ingredient that is locked behind an ABB option just gives so much gratification when you finally get to that point. Yes, it's very expensive. Yes, it's difficult, but some things are supposed to be difficult, is kind of how I look at it. So I'd rather it just not be at base. How about leak at base, but skill specialist? I mean, I'd still wouldn't prefer it because I think that nullifies the level 30 unlock for new players. Because then you can just catch a Quaquaval, or not Quaquaval. You can just catch a Farfetch'd and then just unlock leaks. Like, there's no achievement in that. You just get the 20 diamonds and don't think about it. You just get it in the Vaporeon's ingredient pool and don't think about it. With it being level 30, it's at least something to have to work towards. So I'm kind of against it being at base. I was genuinely against mushrooms at base when people were suggesting it for Quagsire. And I still think it was a mistake. But oh well. Low-key hoping for leaks at 1 and 60, not only possible. High velocity. Hey there, Otomai. My understanding is leak at base is a catch-up mechanic for people who are straggling behind the OGPP players for the new players. Because my hot take is new island after anniversary. Oh, I definitely think there'll be a new island shortly after the anniversary. Well, I'd have to count things out. So, we've seen roughly... But it was January to October was the difference between Lapis Lakeside to Old Gold Power Plant. So roughly 9 months. 9 months after October, you have November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July. 9 months is end of July, roughly. So I would expect... But the thing is, end of July is the anniversary. And I'm expecting the anniversary to be similar to last year's anniversary. Or maybe something new. We'll see. But I don't expect it to be a new island with the anniversary. I think they want the anniversary to be more all-inclusive, exciting for new players and experienced players alike. So I'm thinking that puts... Then they're going to have to push back the new island just a little bit past their what feels most natural of 9 months. To probably be either late August is my expectation. So I don't think that's really a hot take. That's more what I would expect. Hey there, EdLV. League at base, but skill specialist is my theory, but I think if that's the case, it'll feel weird for a skills Pokemon and an ingredient Pokemon to have 2 leaks at 30. Yeah, it'd be 1, 2, 4. It'd be the exact same spread of, but then Farfetch'd would just have 1. It'd have to have a lower ingredient rate, significantly lower ingredient rate. Infernape and Torterra and Empoleon, please. I would like that. I don't think that's going to be the case, though. I think they're either going to give us... As far as starters go, I think it's either going to be the one that Embor is a part of, just because it's a starter. I think they're going to try and play off a ZA hype, personally. Which would either be the starters for Gen 6, or the one that Embor is a part of, since Tepig is a starter in ZA. It would have to have 1/1/2 leaks to not power creep Quackable. Not necessarily, because it could be balanced by a ridiculously low ingredient rate. I mean, if you look at even just like I said, you can compare Absol to Blastoise. Granted, Quackable has a lower ingredient proc size, but it's balanced out by having a high proc rate. But Absol is a mono option. Blastoise is not. And it even has smaller procs. It has 3 and 5. That's 1 less. That's 2 less on both. That's a significant drop-off in the amount of cacao produced per proc. But if we compare that at level 65, because of the ingredient rate difference and the frequency difference, Blastoise is marginally worse than Absol. So they could do the same thing with Farfetch'd easily. Very easily. We'd have to have 1/1/2 leak. Low ingredient rate. Farfetch'd has the leak, but he's holding on to it. Yes! He will not give it up. I've just slammed the Elden Beast. It's been 5 hours. Oh, that's a rough one. Elden Beast is not... Just wait until Millennia. I know that's not my typical player base is talking about that game, but... That's one of my favorite games, so... Outside of, like, sleep and stuff. I haven't played it in a while, though. But yeah, I'm expecting Farfetch'd to be... I'm expecting this comparison to be the comparison to... Farfetch'd. In fact, let's do some math here. If we have a base Quackable... It's like 30 minutes? Oh, gosh. Okay. What's base Quackable with no subskills, no nature? Or neutral nature at level 65. 37.91. Good night. Good night, Ryan. Good night, research. Victory, good night, research gang. Yeah. So, right now, Blastoise to Absol is roughly... Absol is... Ugh, I did the wrong function. 59.91 divided by 55.67 is what it's showing. It's roughly 7.6% better. If I took that modifier and applied that to Quacklevol's 37.91, there, 40.78 leaks. That's my prediction for what base Farfetch'd is going to have if it has a mono list. But I'm also expecting that because it is a mono option, or because it's a level 6, a 16-pip Pokemon, it's going to be harder to hunt, and you'll probably settle for worse than what you would if you did the Quackable hunt. Which will probably lead to Quackable still being a better option, unless you stumble into a good Farfetch'd, as is always the case. You could stumble into a good 16-pip Pokemon. I've seen examples of mono Absols that are insane. I've seen examples before of other legendaries people have stumbled into that are insane. Cough, cough. Cough, cough that. But anyway, as far as Farfetch'd goes, I don't expect it to be shaking up the meta, even for players that haven't invested a Quackable yet. A lot of people are like, oh, don't invest a Quackable. It's gonna... You just get a Farfetch'd. Farfetch'd is gonna be way better for leaks. I don't think it's gonna be way better for leaks. Well, I'll be attempted to catch both. My starter luck is so negative. Oof. I mean, that's fair. It is another option. That's another thing. If you're looking for a leak mon, it becomes another option. And hopefully a better option than, like, this. Like, this is... Honestly, that's not that bad of a comparison. But when leaks are so sought after, and it's difficult to get a Quackable that's good enough, honestly, for the meta call. Like, if we look at mine, which I consider mine to be a very good Quackable, it technically doesn't meet it. Yeah, it barely misses it, technically speaking. Now, it does if it has helping bonus stacks. That pushes it beyond, but without that, it's actually below... Because the meta call right now is 60, with 20 and Zingzap Cola. So, it's very difficult to get one that crosses that 60 threshold. Meanwhile, other Pokemon, like, if you want to meet the meta call for... let's see, what's... Ginger or Herbs, especially, are the funny ones. I think Ginger is the real crazy one, because, like, the meta call for Ginger right now is 20, I believe, in Zingzap. Let's see, what does it take to meet the meta call for that on a Tyranitar? With a mono list. Oh, look at that. That makes 101. If it's not even a mono list, it makes it with 65. You don't even need a mono Tyranitar. You just need ABA, and you're meeting the meta call. Like, that doesn't mean invest in a Tyranitar that looks like that. Tyranitar is very expensive. But it's just to show a proof of concept that leaks are a very difficult ingredient to get something that meets meta calls versus things like Ginger or Apples even. Apples, pretty much you just need a mono list as well on Fuecoco. Let's see, how does this guy look? 102. Okay, I guess it needs a little bit more than just a mono list, because it's 105 is the Apple meta call. So, yeah, there. That's what he takes. Big whoop. And 105 is not a small amount of apples. That's insane. So yeah, I'm not expecting Farfetch'd to really shake up the meta at all. I think it's just going to be another hunt for people to go in on. Meanwhile, expert mode. I think expert mode's a really interesting discussion topic, and it's honestly something that I wanted to discuss a little bit more. And I thought about making another video on it, but I don't think there's really enough to say because we don't currently have all the details. But as far as expert mode goes, I've seen a lot of posts and threads and stuff of people being like, oh, well, it could be this. It could be meta shifting, and I've seen other people saying, I don't think it's going to be meta shifting. I've seen some people just have discussions about it because, like, some people are saying that it's not going to change anything because it'll be easy enough that anyone can enjoy it, that you don't actually need to be an expert at the game. It only takes Master 18, relatively low. That might be the case. I can see the case that it might be that. But at the same time, it says it's an expert mode, and it's obviously being added to give a challenge to veteran players, is kind of my thoughts on it. So maybe the detriments for using off-type Pokemon is going to be hard enough that it may make a difference in what we want to be using. But we really don't know. We really, really don't know. And that's the interesting thing, is that I feel like there's a lot of discussion around it right now and a lot of buzz, but I don't think we have enough information to really have discussions about it or how it's going to look. But I do want to see it, because I think it's interesting. And it's got the potential. It's got the potential to shift everything. If the rewards are good enough and the challenge is hard enough and it makes it so that off-type Pokemon are nerfed so far into the ground that you don't want to be using them, and there's going to be a lot of things that we have to consider that we weren't really considering before. And it'll make us be more creative in our team building and might bring about the rise of more Pokemon that are otherwise currently bad in the meta. Except for poor Wobbuffet. I think Wobbuffet is like the one Pokemon that they just cannot redeem no matter how hard they try. Because Gardevoir is still Psychic type, so there's really nothing it can do. Berry Fending S is even more useful on every mon. Potentially. I think it's really difficult to say, because what if the boosts are like +1 ingredient, or +1 berry even? I don't think they do that, but then you'd get less out of Berry Fending S. So, if it's expensive to play, I don't think it'll be expensive to play. I'm hoping it's not for this. Otherwise, these new devs definitely are meeting the accusations of being greedy if it's more than that. We only have so many sleep points in a month, and if they drain us on our sleep point supply, that's clearly just trying to get us to spend more money on biscuits. So, expert ticket, 10,000 sleep points or 1,000 diamonds. I don't think it's going to be sold for diamonds. I think they're going to keep it in the sleep point shop exclusively, because that's the way that the news kind of worded it. It said it would be in the sleep point shop. It didn't say anything about being purchased for diamonds. And I think they want to limit how often we can play it to make it more strategic. If they put it in the diamond shop, then all you have to do to play it infinitely is just pay more. And I don't think that's what they want. And I think that the reasoning for it being put in the sleep point shop is just to make it accessible, but limited. I guess they could limit it in the diamond shop as well, though. Like, they did that with Ultra Biscuits, so... Lack of Pokebiscuits recently is alarming. I'm absolutely drained. Well, it's not really the lack of Pokebiscuits. It's more the higher expense. Murkrow, followed by Mawile, followed by upcoming Farfetch'd. A lot of expensive Pokemon being released. I expect one ticket available per month. I expect the same. I think it'll be one ticket to purchase a month. Maybe it'll be one in the free-to-play shop and one discounted in the premium shop. But I think either way, they will be limited to 1 or 2 per month for everybody. Haven't thrown biscuits at a 16-pip all year. Saves lots of biscuits. I agree. I made a video about 16-pip Pokemon a while back. The 16-pip problem. And it's one that I wish the YouTube algorithm would re-push for me right now. Because I think a lot of people need to hear it. 16-pip Pokemon are not worth investing or hunting, realistically. And the comparison that I make, I think my favorite comparison for that is if we compare Houndoom. Now, Houndoom is a very mid Pokemon. Nobody's really looking for a Houndoom. If they stumble into a good one, they may invest it, but it's kind of a mid Pokemon, most people might say. If we try to get its level down, because skill level, well, you'll see in a minute why I'm doing that. If we compare to Weavile, one of the strongest Pokemon in the game, Weavile is a 16-pip Pokemon. If we make them level 65, and let's just max out its main skill, because the calculator really does Weavile's main skill dirty, while it likes Houndoom's main skill, so that's why I made that adjustment for total strength. Then total strength-wise, level 65. Oh, give me a minute. I have to give him Berry Finding S. You can see that Weavile's clearly better, by about 3k a day. Now, here's the thing, though. Would you settle for a Berry Fighting S Weavile? Most people would, because it's a 16 pip option. Would you settle for a Berry Fighting S Houndoom? If I was looking to invest in a Houndoom personally, because I know how mid it is, I'd be looking for more, like, better sub-skills. Because I can catch more of them, they're 5 pips, relatively cheap, the candy's more common, so I'd be wanting, like, at the bare minimum, Berry Fighting S help speed M. Because you can actually afford that kind of a hunt. So, and given that you can afford a hunt to just look for one with just help speed M in addition, compared to just Berry Fighting S alone on the Weavile, look at this. It actually comes out to be more strength on the Houndoom. And a lot of people went crazy over Weavile. And I posted that video around when Weavile was released because I saw a lot of people going crazy for it. And I was like, guys, maybe this isn't something to hype about. Because it's too expensive. You can just hunt for a better Houndoom and have more strength overall. But people wanted the Weavile. So, yeah. Good night, peeps. Stayed up watching the stream. Have good sleeping, Medici. Cursed at the moment, been trying to get dozing to get a Sprigatito. Not much luck. I do go to top hall. Oh, also, good to have you here, Larrikin. Knows that. Let's go to top hall to get Cyndaquils. I usually get snoozing, but now I'm not looking for one. It's all dozing. Oh boy, hope you can find Clodsire. That's like, whatever. Dozing at top used to be a death sentence way back when. I remember, like, upon release, everyone was like, no, not dozing again at top. Because it was like Swalot, Ekans, Krogunk. And that was like it. I guess there was Tyranitar if you were high enough drowsy power, but just Tyranitar, not the rest of the Evo line. Alright, my Giga Houndoom with skill trigger M and speed M and skill level M is probably my luckiest first catch of a Mon. Whoa, that was your first catch of a Houndoom? Oh, man. Need 75, 100 for... Oh, that's right. Yes, I've seen that one before. Yeah. Have the ultimate ABB Blastoise. I'm good for chocolate. Rip. Well, maybe coffee. Maybe ABB. What's your standard for sub-skills for berry and ingredient specialists? Depends on the one. I kind of discussed it there. If I was to invest in a Weavile, I would maybe just need Berry Fighting S because it's a much more expensive hunt. But honestly, for them, like, I'd say at least Berry Fighting S and, like, one other bonus of Help Speed. Raichu, it's a lot higher because I have a lot of other Raichus, so there's no reason to even consider reinvestment on them. But it really depends on the species. If I was to ever invest in Raticate, Raticate is so trash that it needs to have really good sub-skills to compete with, like, other options. So, like, it really depends. As for ingredient specialists, I don't really look at, like, what their ingredients... I look at, can they meet the calls that I need for meals? Can they fill a role on the team? And typically I'm looking for some sort of help bonus in there as well. But if it's not there and they're really good at the ingredients, then I may ignore that. So it really just varies. It's not consistent. Species to species, it can vary. Gotta go, thanks for the hat. Nice night, Nitra, MSIC42. Got the helping bonus, IFM speed up mono Vikavolt. So, whew, yeah, that's all. Yeah, you don't need a Clodsire. Unless you're trying to make... Wait. This team, then you might need a Clodsire. Oh, that's a callback right there. Go back to earlier in the stream if you want to know what this team's about and how stupid it is. But yeah. As far as my thresholds for ingredient specialists, it's berry. Berry is like... I don't invest them if they... I don't even consider them if they don't have at least Berry Fighting S or Helping Bonus. If they have either of those sub-skills, then I start thinking about them and looking at the other sub-skills. But if they don't have either of those, it's immediate candy. No questions asked. As for ingredient finders, it's a bit more complicated because you also have to consider list. So, like, ingredient list, and then sub-skills, and nature. If I see ingredient finding down, it's pretty much immediately candy. Actually, no, it is immediately candy. Maybe adamant, I might look at other things, if it's got an interesting list to me. But generally speaking, it's immediately candy if it's ingredient finding down. Past that, it just depends on what I need. Hey, I was watching your videos the last 2 days, especially your prep video for the next event. I was wondering why you're using Cresselia instead of a normal healer. Is Cresselia that good? My Cresselia is that good. That's the problem with that. Cresselia can be that good if you have a very good one, but without it being a very good one, it's not that good. I have one that has skill trigger M, help speed M, and a skill trigger up nature. And even though it is worse for healing, it is an expense. There is an opportunity cost for Cresselia. It does make it so that you have weaker healing. That's hands down. However, its berries in many situations are so powerful. It produces so many berries on its own that oftentimes it can produce more net strength. You lose strength in the energy loss, but you gain more strength through the berries than what you lose through the energy loss, as long as you're still meeting ingredient thresholds. So that's why I personally run Cresselia, because I stumbled into a good one during the event. So it is my main healer at this point. For most players, I would not advise it, though. Because it is a very difficult hunt. The base one will not be that good comparative to like a Gardevoir or a Wigglytuff. Just stick with the more reliable healing. You need to have a very good Cresselia for it to be worthwhile investment. But if you do have a good one, invest it. I've found very good success with it so far. I've run a lot of calculations, and I think it is very, very powerful. And I think that a lot of players kind of sleep on it. Now, I run it as the main healer just because it produces just enough healing that running a second healer is redundant, even if my healing is unreliable. But that's just an expense that I've taken. But for comparison, I mean, here's the team that I threw together. Not this team. It was... Gosh, I need to filter out my teams a bit more. I think it was this team. Yes, this is the team. This is the team that I ended up settling on. If I duplicate this team, and then swap out my Cresselia for my Gardevoir... let's see. Actually, let's not use that Gardevoir. We'll use my better Gardevoir. But actually adjust its main skill level to be max, because it's not like that in-game right now. And you know what, we'll give it the max inventory. So if we were to theoretically have this one instead, you can see 4.426 million versus the Cresselia, 4.625 million. So weaker healing, no doubt about that. No questions asked. It's weaker for healing. But it's making so many berries that the opportunity cost is worth it. I usually run Crest during the night to gain XP and morning healing, and then switch to Gardevoir for the morning/day. That could be reasonable, swapping things around. If you want to take a more active approach to the game, that's reasonable. I personally am not a huge fan. I also like to run it during the day because you also get more natural candies. That candy that you gain off of it just from running it is more than you would think. It's not a lot. I made a video on it once talking about how much XP you're actually gaining from that, but running it during the day, it's not as much as the sleep XP at night. Don't get me wrong. But it does add up over time. And it does still cost Dream Shards, though, unlike sleep XP, so I understand that difference. I like to keep my teams fixed. If my Pokemon's worth using, I don't want to rotate off the team. I want them to be able to level up. I want them to be able to get their candies. I feel like that's the way the devs intended the game to be played. I don't think they intended for a rotating team strategy, even though that is what a lot of players like to do and what is theoretically the most optimal. I think the energy system is designed in a way to encourage static teams. That it's not necessarily supposed to be about managing your energy. You're supposed to see... I think they intended for sleep energy recovery to be the main source of energy recovery, and they didn't realize how good energy for everyone would be when it's really optimized. So I think that's the intent that the devs have made for the game, and I think that that's going to be, like, they're going to be keep releasing things with the mindset that static teams are the playstyle for the game. And I think that as they keep releasing things, they'll only necessarily be made with the intention of a static team. Now, I have no real backing for that. It's just kind of my personal feelings. Maybe I'm a little bit biased because it's the way that I like to play the team, or play the game. It also makes things a heck of a lot easier to calculate in Rain on X. Team analysis is a beautiful function, but it doesn't really do you all that well if you don't play with static teams. If you do a lot of rotating teams, then this really doesn't help you all that much. It can give you some ideas of things, but it's not perfect. But it is basically a perfect tool if you are willing to commit your teams to be rarely rotated. So, that's kind of my playstyle. And I don't like to rotate all that much. Yeah, I rarely use team analysis because I swap around mons. Yeah. If you swap around the mons, then there's no real usage of using this all the time. For me, it's gorgeous, though. And if I do swap around a mon, I swap around to Denna, and that's pretty much it. I'll be like, okay, this ingredient is scheduled to make 59 extra per day. Maybe I don't need to run the Vikavolt 24/7. I can probably swap that off for my Dedenne to get a little bit of extra tasty chance. Swap the Vikavolt back on, and that's like the only one I'll consider swapping off. That's pretty much the extent of my team rotation is Dedenne. Still do naps? I don't nap right now. I think that there is a place if you really want to optimize it for naps. I haven't really done... I did do a review session on how it works with after the nerf that naps had, but I personally just don't. If there's ever another hunt that particularly interests me and I have the biscuits to spend, then maybe one day I'll start napping again for those events specifically, but it's more effort than it's worth. Before it was kind of OP and broken. Nowadays, I think it has benefits, but I think it's, like I said, more effort than what it's worth. Hey there, Ivan Brown. Glad to have you in chat. Sup? Nothing much, just kind of chatting, having discussion. You missed this beautiful team. This is so... I need to bookmark this somehow. Anyway. But yeah, that's kind of my takes with Cress and why I went with that. Yeah. What's good, y'all? Hey there, Jacob Butler. Glad to have you in chat. Nothing much is happening right now. Just chilling for the night. Napping is really not useful for adults who sleep 8+ hours at night, so I'm glad they're not encouraging it in game. Yeah, it used to be genuinely encouraged. Is this a viewer's team? Oh, this team? This is not a viewer's team. Nobody has this team. This team is my team for... Summer Festival? Is that what it's called? Whatever the next event is called. I do not recall. No one has that. Yes, no one has this team. But it's a very powerful team. It reliably makes the top tier salad. So that means it's great, right? Master 20. It's the ultimate theory craft team. Yeah. So yeah, this is my Summer Festival team. That I crafted up and came up with. My Tyranitar, my Vikavolt, my Gengar, Raichu, Cresselia. I'm excited for it. Should get roughly Master 17 at the Old Gold Power Plant. Nope, more than that. It will be more than that. I forgot to enable the cooking, the event bonus. Give it a minute. Master 18 at the Old Gold Power Plant. I can do better than that. It probably will be even better than that because the meal will level up as the week goes on. Which will make a difference as well. So I'm expecting to do more than this, but that's what it's projecting right now. I'm just glad to get more strength because I need more research XP. I'm excited for it. I can always use more research XP. I want to get to rank 65. And as of right now, it's very slow coming. That's probably because of my more static team approach of not liking to rotate all that much. Is probably a big reason why that is taking so long, but I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. So looking at my Cresselia, I have two. One has Ingredient S, Skill S, Speed M, Skill M, and the other has Skill M, Speed S, both neutral natures. Those ones are difficult to justify. They're close. I would say... So it's Ingredient S, Skill S, Speed M. Yeah, the first one comes online way too late for it to be worth investment. The second one, Skill M, Speed S. That one's... If you're going to invest in either of them, I'd recommend the second one. The first one would be better long term, but by the time that you get it there, they'll have gone so long without it. The real question is it worth investing over like Gardevoir? That's a really difficult one. I guess the question is, what other healer options do you have, and have you already invested them? If you already have an invested healer outside of it, I'd probably hold off. If you don't have an otherwise already invested healer, then maybe it's a reasonable option. Because it's like if you had Mind, but instead of a skill trigger up nature, you had Speed S. Which Speed S is significantly worse than a skill trigger nature. This is my team right now. Let's see. Cresselia does not have a procs for us. Palmont invested. Yeah, if you have a Palmont already invested, I'd probably say hold off, but don't get rid of it. How does Typhlosion's ingredient rate compare to other ingredient mons? That one I do not know. Or other berry mons. Let's see. We can do a quick thing here. Ingredient. We'll do by ingredient count. I think that's a more fair analysis if we're looking at that. Thank you much, appreciate it. Anytime, anytime. Okay. So as far as berry Pokemon go, Typhlosion's rates. Where is Typhlosion? Oh. Kind of like just mid, I guess. It's a little bit above... It depends on... Do you want count or rate? If we're looking at rate... Because those are two very different measurements. If we're looking at rate, it's... a bit on the... Wait, where is it? Oh, it's a bit also mid. But a bit lower comparative to the count. Raichu is actually the best with count. Just because of its high frequency. And mid-high rate. It's... Some people consider a high ingredient rate to be bad on a berry specialist. I see it as kind of a moot stat. Like, not really making any impact. It's just kind of there. Steelix has the lowest ingredient rate, in case you didn't know, of any fully evolved berry specialist. Although that's any fully evolved, there are lower ones. Because Onyx, I believe, is actually lower. Yes, Onyx is the the actual lowest. Pull up my Cyndaquil and send the screen cap if I didn't already put my game to sleep. It's alright, it's alright. I wouldn't be worried about the ingredient rate on Typhlosion. If you don't have a mono list on a berry specialist, for the most part, they're not going to be producing enough of any of the ingredients to really be worth considering too much what they can contribute to a meal. ABB can kind of do it as well. If it's not ABB or mono, it's probably not even worth thinking about. Ingredient quantity is what makes an ingredient specialist a specialist, just like how berry quantity is what makes a berry specialist a berry specialist. Yes. Actually, 1,000... Yes, I know $1,000 Onyx is part of the meta. That's why I mentioned it. Well, even not being $1,000 Onyx is honestly kind of part of the meta. It's theoretically in In a vacuum, under the certain circumstances, it is the best berry specialist in the game. You can get it to show it as the best one in the game, but it's very difficult. It's an interesting one to try and get it that way. If we're going by berry strength, I think is the one we need for Onyx. Yes. If we go by berry strength with berry fighting S, Onyx shows up as the best. It loves the white room. But if we go by total strength, Alolan Ninetales is almost always the best. Okay, no, it shows Darkrai. Oh, wait, that's because I didn't filter down to berry specialist again. Is it worth maximizing sleep hours to accelerate ribbons on ingredient mons? Not really. The extra inventory is nice, but not amazing. It doesn't make or break a Pokemon, unless it's Onix or Chansey. Well, and even then, Onix is good without it. Chansey is like the only one that like needs it. Vigoroth also really loves it as well, but it's not really a great Pokemon to begin with. So it makes a not very good Pokemon a little bit better. The ingredient rates for ingredient specialists and berry specialists are more related to speed than specialty. That is very well. I think there's a little bit of balancing at play with it. Like definitely with ingredient specialists, yes. But also I think a part of it is also ingredient list is at play with ingredient specialists. Frequency, ingredient list, like what ingredient they have as the base. For berry specialists, it'd be more difficult to say that it's... It'd be interesting to see. I'd be interested to see how, if you made a chart with ingredient rate and then on one axis and then the other axis being frequency, how it would correlate. Because, like, Arbok doesn't have a particularly good frequency. It's 56 minutes. Neither is Slacking. Neither is Altaria. But then, like, Raichu's pretty high up here. So is so is Weavile. Which both have decent frequencies. Feraligatr has the same frequency as Meganium, but they're on, like, opposite ends. So, I think it's... I don't know what it is. The point is that it's all balanced. Yeah, it is all balanced. The ingredient rate... Every time someone says, oh, this Pokemon has a great ingredient rate, I'm like... Or... Most of the time, 9 times out of 10, they don't know what they're talking about, because you can look at the ingredient rate, and the ingredient rate in a vacuum means nothing. Like, absolutely nothing. You need to know the ingredient rate and the frequency to know if it's good or not. A Pokemon could have an ingredient specialist could have a 100% ingredient rate. Better than every other Pokemon in the game by a long shot. But if its frequency is stinking 20,000 seconds, that thing's still not going to be that good. Like, obviously they wouldn't introduce a Pokemon like that in the game. That would be a fun gimmick Pokemon, I think. Reliable ingredients, but like stupidly low speed. That'd be kind of funny, honestly. Fun gimmick. But, like, the ingredient rate on its own in a vacuum, there is no such thing as a good or bad ingredient rate in a vacuum. Same thing with skill trigger rate. There's so many other factors to play. Skill trigger rate's even different, because even skill trigger rate and frequency is not enough to determine whether or not it is good. Because skills, you also have to account for what is the skill. 10 triggers a day on Raikou's main skill would be absurd. 10 triggers a day on Moonlight, who cares? Like, there's no such thing as good or bad skill trigger rates. There's no such thing as good or bad ingredient rates. It all matters. It all matters, everything in combination, in tandem. The one exception to that is frequency, because frequency, at least on a berry specialist, can tell you some information. Because frequency can always reliably tell you how a berry specialist will perform under sneaky snacking conditions. And as long as you have their typing as well. I guess typing also... No, because you need to know their typing too. But even that, there is a limited range of what it could be from. It's somewhere from 24 to 33, I believe. So even that... No, 35. 35 is Dragonberry. So you have a limited range of where it could be. So frequencies can tell you things in a vacuum. You just described the mono Farfetch'd gimmick incoming maybe. Gosh, if my chart... If I have to extend it out like 20 lines, my chart for frequencies of Pokemon in the game that I made, just to include a new gimmick Pokemon, I would have to completely reformat how that thing has worked, because that'd be just stupid. For those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, it's this chart here. We all meant to prepare for Farfetch'd to be a berry finder with 1 leak each slot with strength charge S. Well, I don't think it'd be 1 leak in each slot, because if it was, then what's the point of unlocking them? I would assume they'd keep it on the same definition that they have as of right now of 1, 2, 4 for non-ingredient specialists for their A list. So then it'd be 1, 2, 4 leaks. If it was 1, 1, 1, then there'd literally be no purpose in unlocking the other ones. But it's not out of the picture. I could see it being just some really basic... It's probably going to have a basic skill. I don't expect it to have anything unique and crazy. Just because it didn't have an announced main skill, which means it's probably not going to be something new. Typically with a new main skill, they announce it in the Pokemon's announcement news, which means it's probably going to be a main skill that already exists in the game. Now, I would assume it's not any of the more specifically named and called out ones. If I look through the main skills, like Lunar Blessing, that's pretty specific to Cresselia. In fact, we could just ignore all of the legendary skills, because it's not a legendary. But then, like, Super Luck, Ingredient Draw, and Hyper Cutter, those are pretty specific to Pokemon that have that ability in the main game. Hyper Cutter being Mawile, Super Luck being Honchkrow. It theoretically could be Absol as well, I heard. I think there are a few other Pokemon with Super Luck. But it definitely wouldn't be Farfetch'd. So we'd have... And it wouldn't be Transformer, Mimic, or Moonlight, or Disguise, because it doesn't have access to those in the base game. I don't think it has access to Stockpile. So we're probably looking at either Berry Burst, Tasty Chance... Metronome. I don't think it has Metronome either. Does Farfetch'd have access to Metronome? Probably not that one. Cooking Power-Up, Ingredient Magnet, extra helpful. Honestly, they like to give us new Pokemon that have skills that aren't previously on things. And, extra helpful S. It doesn't have an ingredient specialist on it. This is my bet. I'm betting it'll be extra helpful S on an ingredient specialist. Berry Burst is already in a flying on Rufflet. Yeah, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's not going to happen. It could be regular ingredient draw, yes, but I don't think that'd be the case, because I would expect them to announce it. Because back when they had Berry Burst, they had Disguise already. And I believe they announced that Berry Burst... I think they said Rufflet was going to have Berry Burst Basic. I would have to go back to that news. This is bringing me back to... I should just have this page bookmarked at this point. How far back would that be? That'd be early this year. January. I could imagine Tasty Chance, and now I want it. I could see Tasty Chance on it... So, that'd be funny, because then that'd be our second bird that's an ingredient specialist with Tasty Chance. We're going to have to go back a little bit more than that. Second ingredient Pokemon with Tasty Chance. How funny would that be? Yeah, Rufflet Braviary was very early 2025. Man, I guess I didn't realize how far back that was. Time flies when you're having fun. They always do say that. Okay. They're Skill Week bundles. It should be like the next one. Okay. Did they tell us their skill in the announcement? Yes, they did. So they announced it with them when they added a new main skill of just basic berry burst. Because before this point we had disguise. So that pretty much confirms for us that it won't be ingredient draw non-modified. That's pretty much confirmed. It won't, because it won't be a new skill. They didn't mention a new skill in its announcement news. And that would be a new skill, even though it's not currently in the game. Because we have Hypercutter and Super Luck. So it's going to be just something else that's not like any of these ones. So that leaves us with Berry Burst, not Helper Boost, that's a legendary skill. Berry Burst, Tasty Chance, Cooking Power-Up, Ingredient Magnet, Extra Helpful, Energy Forever. Okay, it's probably not going to be that. That's pretty much sticking to healers. Farfetch'd is not a healer. Charge Energy, Dream Shard Magnets, Charge Strength, Energizing Cheer, or Charge Strength, yeah. I think they're going to try to make it unique and interesting, which the only things that we don't have for Ingredient Specialist would be either Dream Shard Magnets, or Extra Helpful. Maybe Tasty Chance would make sense with it having a lot of theming around crits in the base games. That would make a lot of sense. I'm not opposed to it and would not be surprised. My guess, though, I'm going to make the weird out-of-pocket guess of Extra Helpful. I think that's what it's going to be. And Extra Helpful works on an Ingredient Specialist, especially one that has such high-value ingredient procs. So, because, man, that thing would have crazy high-value ingredient procs. When it procs ingredients, that's the big if. Which actually, given that it would be a flying type, though, it's probably going to have high frequency, low ingredient rate. Similar to Cram. Because that's a low value berry, so for balance purposes, it's probably going to have higher frequency. So that it produces significant, actually non-negligible amounts of berry strength. If they make its frequency too low, the berries are just going to be completely ignored. They already pretty much are, but even more so than they already are. So I'm expecting it to have higher frequency and lower ingredient rate to balance for higher frequency. So Extra Helpful might not be amazing on it. Because if they have that, then it's going to have lower ingredient rate. So it won't actually proc all that much on the flat amount of helps. It'd be nice, though. But it'd be better if it was normal type in that circumstance. And even then, it wouldn't be that great. So maybe I don't want Extra Helpful. Tasty Chance. But it's already been done before on a bird that's flying type. So I don't think they're going to do that again. Because there's already an Ingredient Specialist with it that is flying type. That'd be really weird to repeat. Then the only other unique one is Dream Shard Magnet. Which I can't imagine an Ingredient Specialist with Dream Shard Magnet. That feels like a weird blend. I'm pretty certain every other one of these skills has at least one Ingredient Specialist with it, so aside from the ones it basically can't have. This box here. Ingredient draw with leaks. I could see it too, but I don't think it'll happen because of the way that they announced in the past. We were just talking about that. In the past, whenever they make a new main skill, they share what the Pokemon's main skill is. Which, when they did Berry Burst with no modifiers on Braviary, previously they had Disguise. They announced it as if it was a new main skill. And they did not do that with, Farfetch'd. So the assumption with that... Yeah, there's nothing here saying it's main skill. Which the assumption with that is that it's an already existing main skill in the game. So it's not going to be just a non-modified ingredient draw. That's my prediction, at least. And I think there's enough evidence supporting that it's reasonable speculation. I forgot that Braviary had sausage and coffee. That might have been useful earlier. Might have been. But yeah, I'm thinking Extra Helpful. That's what I'm calling. I'm going to say Extra Helpful. If I'm right, I'm right. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It really doesn't matter. It's a skill on what's most likely to be an Ingredient Specialist. If it's a skill specialist, then I guess the devs are just giving a middle finger to all of our speculation. All we know right now is that it is a flying type. We know it's berry. It's got Pam tree berries, which isn't very strong. That's the weakest berry in the game. You know, flying type legendary. What would they add to the game for a flying type legendary? There aren't a lot of options that I'm aware of. But it is always fun to speculate. Well, there are the 3 birds, I guess. I don't think they're doing that. And then also Lugia and Ho. Man, there actually are a lot of flying type legendaries. That's funny. Rayquaza. I think they'd make that a dragon type, though. Lugia. Yeah, Lugia, Ho-Oh, Articuno, Zapdos, Moltres, Rayquaza. Tornadus, Landorus, Thundurus. Why are there so many flying type legendaries? That feels like a weird one to have. Like, I knew there were a lot of psychic types and dragon types, but also there's a lot of flying types too. Yveltal, I know that one's a flying type as well. Enamorus. Oh, then the regional birds. Galarian, Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres. The thing is, they're almost all secondary flying. Aside from, like, Tornadus. Just Tornadus, I think, is, like, probably the only one that's primary flying. That's interesting. Yeah, Tornadus. One of only 2 Pokemon that are mono flying in the base games. I knew that fact. The other one is Rookidee. So they can fly, remain legends. I suppose. And if they're not flying, a lot of them levitate as well. Like Cresselia levitates. Giratina Origin, I believe, levitates. The 3 Lake Spirits levitate. Latios levitate. It's like half of them are either flying or levitate. Also, Pheasantipity, the bird, is not flying, apparently. The pheasant that is actively a bird does not fly. It's a flightless bird. I love details like that. Yeah. I don't think we're going to get Berry Burst on it. Berry Burst, I think, would be fun on an ingredient specialist. That'd be really weird to consider. You'd really want to be focusing on levels at the same time as ingredients. Which, ingredient specialists do want to get to at least 60 at a minimum, but before you could even... That'd be an interesting way to make their skill actually matter a bit more. You still wouldn't want to put main skill seeds into it. But it'd be a bit fun because it would scale off the level. So you'd almost have, like, eventually, at a high enough level, that's going to output a significant amount of berries, whether you have skill seeds into it or not. Corvisquire 2. Is Corvisquire? I think Corvisquire picks up the steel typing, doesn't it? Okay, no, it's also... Okay, I guess it is more mono-flying. Okay, so there are 3 mono-flying Pokemon. Rookidee, Corvisquire, and Tornadus. I just find it funny because there's so many birds and, like... like, why couldn't they be mono-flying? Why was that not a thing? Why'd they have to be flying normal? So many of them. Like Pidgeot, Farfetch'd. Like, why couldn't this just be a flying type? What? Why did it have to be normal flying? What's the point? I'm sure a lot of people have asked that before, but... Also, I love the giant leak that Galarian Farfetch'd has. Like, why is it so much bigger than the one that the base Farfetch'd has? I'm sure there's some sort of lore reason. I love how it also has a signature item, the stick. At least it's called the stick in earlier ones. I think in Gen 1 they were just flying. No, I'm pretty certain they were always flying normal, if I'm right. I've heard that before. I don't know what even to Google for finding that, but I've heard that there wasn't a mono flying type Pokemon until Gen 5. Was the earliest straight flying Pokemon. Because even like Pidgeot is normal flying. They're all normal flying. Always has been. But yeah, I'm excited for next week. I think it's going to go pretty well. We could ignore this theoretical team, but could you imagine a Farfetch'd using his shield as a pillow to sleep? Oh gosh. Let me pull up Farfetch'd. I need to see what he actually looks like. Okay. I could see it. I could see it being a pillow. The leak pillow. His evolution's pretty dope, not gonna lie. I do like Farfetch'd. Unfortunately, not gonna be in this game, at least not with this update. Not with this update at all, unfortunately. We're only getting one. Oh, hey there, Nova. Glad to have you. Okay, I'm gonna clear out some of my tabs here. Don't really need that anymore. They're always normal flying at. The potential is there. The potential is there for the events we added. I'm hoping they do. This guy, the Galarian bro. They could add it to Old Gold Power Plant. I feel like any of the Galarian forms should get added to Old Gold Power Plant. Just because, like, Galar is supposed to be, like, the UK, if I'm right. So, like, it feels more like the industrial era. the power plant was being used. I don't know. I think that'd be funny. If all the Galarian forms... Galarian Weezing, Galarian Farfetch'd... Although base Farfetch'd is there, too. Which, that feels like a weird one. Why are they putting Farfetch'd at the Old Gold Power Plant? Are there any other flying types there? Now I have to see. This is how you know I know the Rain on X tools so more than I probably should. The fact that I know that they have this option to sort by typing at an island for spawns. But then you can see that I don't know it well enough because I can't find the flying button. Normal, fire, water, electric, grass, fighting, poison, ground, psychic, bug, rock, ghost, dark, steel, fairy. Wait, where's flying? Is there... There must not... Wait, what? Okay, I guess they don't exist at Old Gold Power Plant, and that's why they don't have it up here. This will be the first flying-type Pokemon at the Old Gold Power Plant. Ain't that funny? Is it slumbering? It should be slumbering, right? Yeah. That's funny. They don't even show flying type in here because there are no flying types at Old Gold Power Plant. I'm surprised they got rid of that filter. Who took the time? Like, if I go to Snowdrop, there... Yeah, flying's right there. I can just click it and see Swablu, Rufflet, and Cramorant, and Delibird. But at Old Gold Power Plant, the button's not even there. It'd be between Psychic and... Wait, there's no bugs at Snowdrop. They have it on more of them. I'm just discovering this now. What? Why is this as funny to me as it is? Are there any ingredients missing from either of them? Right on next is Gaslight. I mean, it's not. It's just showing a genuine difference. And getting rid of the filter, because why would you need that filter? We'll just get rid of everything. Oh yeah, also no fire, you're right. Well, what's the other one that's missing from Old Gold? Because they have the same number of buttons. Now we need to figure this out. Grass? No. Ice. Ice. There's no ice types at Old Gold. There are no ice types or flying types at the Old Gold Power Plant. Steel from Snowdrop. Oh, yeah, yeah. That makes sense. Yeah, I see that. Wait, so there's 3 missing. No fire types, no steel types, and... Oh, yeah, no, it's just the 2 missing. Yeah, steel and fire. Right? Yeah. And bug. Wait, no, there's 3 missing. Okay. Then there's another one missing from Old Gold. Because there's 3 missing from here, and they have the same amount. What's the other one missing? You determine ice and flying. Dragon. There's no dragon types. That's the other one. Yep, dragon from Old Gold. I wonder if there are what the other maps are missing in type coverage. See, we need more of these types so that none of the islands are missing. Lapis, I think, is missing. Oh my goodness, Lapis is missing so many types. Lapis is probably the least type diverse island, if I had to guess. Let's make this comparison. In case you were wondering which had the least type diversity. Oh, Lapis and Top are tied. How is Cyan? I'm gonna guess it's a little bit better than that. Oh yeah, Cyan's way better. It's the same as Snowdrop and Old Gold. So Lapis and Top are the least type diverse islands, in case you were wondering. Random fact of the day. Both of them missing, it looks like... So they're missing 3. It's got like 3 less at each one of them, so it's missing 6 of the types. They only have 2/3 of the type chart. Alrighty, well... I'm starting to get real tired, and I feel the stream winding down a little bit. A lot less chat activity, so I think I'm going to end it out here. If you have tuned in, I do thank you all for chatting it up. It's been a good night. I hope that you all have enjoyed. If you have, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Maybe comment as you wish. As always, I thank you all for watching and hope that you all have a wonderful night. In this case, at least it's a night for me. Day for those of you that are just now waking up. Bye-bye, everybody.